ball of energy or a ball of dust. I mean, on a camera, it's going to look spectacular. But I got some pictures here. I'm going to bring up. See if I can get this to work. Sorry, I just got Windows 10, so I'm not sure how to work. All right, so as you see, you get these little lights. Roll it. There you go. All right, so you got these little spots. These are what people normally consider orbs, but I kind of wanted to bring a picture that was going to be a little far-fetched for everything there to be considered an orb. And this was actually taken at, there are two bridges that can be Crybaby Bridge. Nobody knows which one they're talking about, so we just went to both of them. This is for one of them, and honestly, we got nothing while we were there. So it's just kind of a picture to show you that these, why is everything moving? But anyway, these here are not, they're not what we consider orbs. That's not what I consider an orb. It's more than likely outside. You're getting dust, water vapor, anything. I mean, it's outside. Got wind blowing. We had a pretty good windy night that night, so see if I can get a. I didn't know how hard this was going to be. Tell me when I'm over the area. No, I'm not going to do it. All right, so this is another one. This is just, you know, yeah, I mean, this looks awesome. It looks like it could be something, but like I'm saying, I think when I was out at this place, it was a kind of a hazy night, you know, especially at night, you got the dew and stuff. Taking a picture out there, it's going to be probably water vapor. And I'm, like I said, I'm a skeptic, so don't think that everything you catch may not have something to do with it. I hate how the TV shows have made everybody think that everything you catch on camera is, if it wasn't right in front of you, you didn't see it. That's paranormal, but that's not the case. So, yeah. So anyway, these are just pictures to kind of show you what I'm talking about. We've done. Yeah, that's another one. So this one's awesome. So you can see the different colors, the different sizes, the different textures. I mean, that's all just different particles in the air. I don't even remember where this one was at, but you know, the red one, you got light gray, white. I mean, this is just different particles in the air. So
I'll add something to that.
Yeah.
If they'll look over here at this screen,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some orbs that we're shooting across
Yeah,
here too. So
so-
they can kind of look over here and you'll see stuff floating around.
Yeah,
That's what
so-
he's describing right there.
Well, they can look right up
And
in
you
front
can-
of the
yeah, you can see
projector
the
and see the
projector and
dust
see that.
floating in the air.
So it's kind of one of those things, you guys, you know, and I have a lot of people that want to send me pictures, and I'll look at them, and I do understand. I've had people tell me, I saw these with my eyes, and I'm going to believe you. And never think that I'm not going to believe you if you send it, but the skeptic in me wants to see it myself, and I always want to try to rationalize it. Of course, you know, I don't want to let a ghost get away with just being around a little speck of dust floating around the air. I think they owe me more than that. Well, they don't owe me nothing, but you know, I think it'd be a lot cooler if they were showing me their whole body. So that one, and not mine in the house. We messed it up, but yeah. And then you got one more piece of dust there in the TV there. And honestly, well, yeah, it was a piece of dust. We took a picture, and then the next picture it was just gone. So that it was just dust. But that's that one. I'm gonna move on next, unless you guys have any questions about that. People hate orbs. People hate orbs for hating them.
Where is Crybaby Bridge?
It's supposedly it's in Copan, and I don't know exactly what road that's on. Do you guys know what road it is? There's two different bridges. It's out close to where the Lavity Mansion is. I think there's a road that you can actually take that goes all the way around, and I think that both of them are on that road. But there's one that's a real nice, big, huge, humongous looking metal bridge. That's one that, and it's got the wooden slats on the bottom, so it looks like an old creepy bridge, and it sounds real creepy when you go out there and walking around it, you hear every step and it shakes the bridge. So, and that's one that's they think it's Crybaby Bridge. That other one that I showed you, it was more of just one of those low water crossings that you see, and it's on that same road. I just, like I said, for the life of me, I couldn't tell you what road. I just know how I get there. But it has to be in a dark time of night. But if you know where the Lavity Mansion was, or where the cemetery is, and I think you can find them both on Google, you can get out there in that area and just go around, and you'll find the bridges. There's at least 2, and there may be even 3 of those low water ones. But the one that we went to was totally covered in graffiti, so you'll know that one. But that's the one where different people have gone out there. Different people have said, well, this one, no, this one, but everybody in America has a Crybaby Bridge, so I'm not 100% sure if it's even real, but they say that this has to do with the Lavity, the Lavities when they, something about a baby and he threw it over the bridge, and just, I don't want to get real big into that one, but, because nobody knows, but that's why they're calling that one Crybaby Bridge, because he threw the baby over the bridge, or, they're different stories. At any rate, yeah, it's out there somewhere. I can give you the general area, but sorry. But, all right. I didn't close that, did I? This is going to be the fun part. Sorry, now that I'm over here, I think that I should have this out. All right. Another thing is, it's not orbs, but they're, these nifty specters. All right. Cool. All right. This looks awesome. This looks spectacular. But what is it? What it is the lady I had with me, she was using her camera at a really slow resolution. So it made her the slow shutter speed. Whew, say that 15 times fast. Okay, so she had her shutter speed real slow. She was taking pictures. She was taking them, moving, taking them, and moving. But when you do slow shutter speeds, and you do it slow like that, and you move while you're in the middle of taking a picture, it's going to make these tells. And so many times I get these pictures sent to me, and they're like, look what I caught. Well, a lot of cameras have an auto feature that will do this for you at night, so it can pick up more light and it shows the picture better. And they think they've got something. I had people get so mad at me before because, there's a demon trail coming out of the ground there. Sorry, that's not, but I try to explain it to people. But honestly, when I look at evidence and I see something like that, again, if I don't see that with my eyes, I'm not gonna take that as evidence. I won't put anything like that on my page. So it's like I said, it's been a lot of. No, but this is at the same place. We did this. We did a Dalton investigation in Coffeyville, and this is some of the stuff we caught. What you can tell there is there's a light back there, a street light, and there's an orb. But hey, that's a street light in the back, and what it's doing is when she's taking that picture, you can tell she just didn't move a whole lot there, but it's picking that light up. So if she took that picture and it turned all the way around, you'd see it coming out of something else, and it would look, like I said, it looks spectacular. It's awesome. But again, with the orb there, I'm sure we thought we had something at that point. And again, this is in the alleyway where the Dalton gang actually met their demise, and this was one of the lights in the back that actually, when she moved her camera just a little bit, it showed this tail. So again, that's another one. Let's see. And that's what the lights look like without moving. So more of a control picture there. Now this is at the community center, and as you can tell, you got all this dust, and then at the very bottom here you see this little bitty squiggly purple line. Again, slow shutter speed. That's one of our black lights we use for extra light for our night vision cameras, so that's, huh? What is it? Oh, well, that's his computer. It's purple. Looks like a black light. Okay, well, one of those is black light, I swear. But anyway, you can see how it looks cool. I mean, it would be something that, if you're not seasoned, you hadn't done this before, and believe me, I am falling for this myself, I would have thought that was something. And I've literally posted stuff when I had my other group. I would post it up there, and then like 2 weeks later, I'd take it down and say, I'm sorry I posted anything like that. I figured it out. Sorry. I never did it again. But it's, oh, and then you got an orb. And another one. It's just, I wanted you guys to kind of see, you know, if you go out and take pictures at night, I just don't want you to look at something and think, you know, you for sure got some. I want everybody that ever does anything in this field, or if you just do it as like a, I don't know what you call it, just a novice going out and taking pictures and wanting to do ghost hunting on your own. This is kind of stuff that I would be wanting you guys to know that, you know, if we use slow shutter speed, that could have caused that. It's kind of like a, you know, thinking a little bit further than just, oh God, I caught a ghost. Because you may have, you may not have. But this is kind of where I'm going with all that. Oh man, back to that. But yeah, it's a kind of a nifty little, you can turn lights back on them. Good for, I don't know, so, does anybody have questions about orbs or any part of that? Ash? No? All right, you guys want to hear me talk some more? How many minutes I got? Yeah. Oh, everybody 45 minutes? All right, so what else did I say I was going to talk about?
Carry unity.
Ah, Unity. All right, well, I don't know if, oh, you wanted me to do that last?
Oh, no.
Well, yeah, a lot of times you'll see groups bickering back and forth with each other on Facebook. I've been part of it. Apologize for it all I can, but you get people that think they know everything. I think everybody up here will tell you they don't know every aspect of this. There's not a 100% science to any of this stuff we do. This is one of those fields where you learn it as you go. There's no books that just are, hey, this is what science says and it's good to go. Science would want to do their best to disprove the spirit world, because they don't want to prove that there's a God. They don't want to prove that there's a devil. They don't want to prove any of that stuff. So, you know, there's not 100% science, but you'll have groups that say that they know 100% of everything, and no matter what you say or what you do, they're going to basically try to tear it down with their 100% knowledge. So it's one of those things. It's nice to be able to meet people in different groups that are, you know, like-minded. They know that they don't know everything either. And I mean, we could be spouting stuff off that is not even true, but we keep each other in check. That's what para-unity is. It's keeping each other in check. It's trying to work with people or work with other teams to make sure that if we have a case that we can't get to, we have another group we can refer them to. So, you know, if you see groups fighting back and forth, have mercy on one of them, because God knows one of them might be halfway right. But also, it's one of those things that should be kept on more of a personal page aspect. It's hard to do though. When you feel like you're getting attacked by something, you're gonna, of course, try to fight back. But, you know, all of us up here, we've talked. We've actually only met part of these guys for about 3 weeks now, but you know, it's kind of cool. We're all friends on our personal pages, and we all pretty much, I mean, we have the same kind of life. We use my glue job, but it's a big one of these, or a small one of these. And what these do is these pick up like a static field in the air. And you know, honestly, I've never seen it work. I've seen it work, but it's one of those things where I couldn't substantiate why it actually went off or came on or whatever the case was. But it's one of those things that's a lot more accurate than, you know, say using a millimeter or a K2 meter. Heck, I might give that away too. But they're more of what it's got in it is a FET transistor. It's field effect transistor. It actually senses what's right there at it. So if I turn it on, it may or may not work, but you can see I have to, move into it to get it to actually light up. So it's something that's right there on it. And these have been kind of my mission to build more of and try to find something a little bit more sensitive, whatever the case. So what I did is I added this big old antenna, and it would pick up a plastic bag from halfway across the room, but found that that's not very accurate itself. So, but these have got the little antennas. This is what they all start out with. And what these will do is the same thing. Basically, whoever gets these, I'll teach them how, but you'll take the circuitry out, hook the battery up, and plug it in, and then make them work. But yeah, so I'm giving those away today. Does anybody have any questions about those? Anybody want to know how to make them?
Yes.
They're easy. It's on the internet. Well, the guy that was explaining them, he explained it really good, but he did say he was from Malaysia, and I had a hard time understanding him, but he had pictures, so that helped me make them, and it was fairly simple. I really have never had I don't have electronics in my background, but I thought, I bought these cases at first. I mean, this one probably cost me about $15, $20 to make. I mean, the antenna itself was like $14 at Radio Shack. Radio Shack's about to go out of business, by the way, so that kind of stuff. They're going to Sprint, and they don't have any of my transistors anymore, so I have to buy these online. But at any rate, you could go out and buy the nice fancy boxes, or, these were my prescription boxes for Lisinopril and for my blood pressure stuff. And I mean, they make a very handy little case. It fits a 9-volt and fits the circuitry in it. It works just fine. I spent, well, with the shipping and handling, but I could have made this if I found those transistors probably for under $5 a piece, plus the price of my prescription. But I didn't have paper. Yes.
Okay, is it true that baby monitors pick up
Yeah.
other things? I mean, it's just a curious question.
Well, it's
on my
like-
part.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. You weren't finished.
And I just was wondering, because I work in a home, we have a baby monitor so we can hear the person we take care of. I won't have it on because I have heard strange stuff come through it. Seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't even leave it on. And I went and checked on him when I heard this one sound, and he was sound asleep and everything. And I'm scared of that house. I don't like that house.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that they can pick up spirits talking. The one thing you got to think about too is if there's anybody else close that may have some, they might interfere with each other.
That's what I was wondering, because there,
Yeah.
other houses out in that area, and kids.
And the control thing you can do to kind of test it out is to just leave it on all day at one point and see if it does pick up any extra stuff. I mean, you want to kind of be listening to it as more of a walkie-talkie kind of thing. You hear somebody talking through it, and you'll know that it's probably picking up somebody else's. But if it's picking up something like "I want to kill you," something like that.
I've just heard it.
Sorry, that's my EVP voice for everything.
I've heard it growling, and he has
Yeah.
no dog, no cat,
Yeah.
and I have heard it growling.
Yeah, and which it could be. I mean, and the whole premise behind it is it's just like having your little voice recorder. I can turn this on, but I don't hear anything, coming through it until I play it back. But you're playing back your audio right then on a baby monitor. He actually forced me to go get some one day. He was like, "That would be cool." He saw it working, and I've got them, and I haven't got to use them yet. But I'm really excited to try them out, because it would be something. If you caught an EVP, you'd be able to hear it right then and respond to it. And
Well, I responded all right. I jumped
Oh,
above the
yeah.
couch.
well, if it's
I jumped above the couch and went and checked on my person I take care of.
yeah,
I was even scared to go to his room because it came kind of the hallway area.
really.
And I know people probably think I'm crazy.
Believe me,
And
nobody.
I have talked to another friend of mine, he said, "Oh, you're just losing it."
Yeah.
And it scared me. I was crying when I was talking about it.
Well,
It's
it's
scary
something that
being
can
that
happen.
bad.
It can happen, and I mean, you know, it's something that, for one, you're gonna, if you hear the same thing again, or the same kind of voice, I mean, that'll,
I don't even have it on.
well, yeah, I understand, so. If you need us to come out, we'll come check it out for you, but,
I'm not
yeah.
driving home, you can't do that.
Yeah, I understand, but, you know, you probably did, you know, have something come through, but, you know, has anything tried to hurt you? Has anything tried to,
Something has touched me.
has touched you?
And I'm not the only one, there's other coworkers in the house with us, and they say, after you go past where his room is,
Uh-huh.
nobody wants to go past his room, because anything beyond that.
Do they just feel something, I guess?
I guess they feel it, I know, I can feel it.
Yeah.
It's like I get these tingly, after that growling actually,
Yeah.
you know, and I get these tingly, it's like.
Well, that'll shake you up, I'm sure, and I mean, we've done a
And the bad
house.
part is,
There's
the
the
staff
one-
bathroom is in the back part of the house.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, you know, if anything jumps out at me, you know, that's gonna be it. You
Oh,
might as well just call and just call somebody.
Get a new
That's
worker
it.
there.
We did the one with the former caretaker, remember? And his voice came across.
Well, yeah, we did a house for the lady. She was taking care of a mentally handicapped gentleman, and he. What started her wanting to have somebody come out was, for one, she had talked to the parents of the guy, and they said it was fine. But what he was doing was. He was
Talking to
looking,
someone.
yeah, he was talking to someone, sitting on a couch, acting weird, doing stuff, and the caretaker lady, she was worried about it. Well, you know, she'd be trying to sleep, and something would like pull her ponytail from the back of the sofa or the recliner. So she was freaked out, but she didn't ever feel like it was going to hurt her. She just felt like it was playing around. So she had us come out. We didn't really have any information except for that. We did the whole investigation. I think it was Jeremy caught a name that came through on the voice recorder. The name wasn't real significant to us. We hadn't heard anybody use it. It wasn't any of the people that lived there. We didn't think nothing of it. Well, we played it for her, and I mean, her mouth like hit the table. She was like, "Did that just say that name?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, is it significant to you?" And it was kind of one of the first things that we had caught that was really, what is it? Well, so she said, I didn't tell you guys, but she said that the coworker, or the caretaker that was taking care of this guy before her, he died one night before he came to work. And he you know, the guy never got to say goodbye to him, and it was just all kind of a hard deal for him all to get through. And she said, you know, now that I think about it, everything that's happening, I know why now. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, when I would be taking care of him and the guy would come in at night, he'd yank on my hair when he came in to wake me up, just to goof around with me. He was a jokester. And she said, him and the gentleman I watched, she said, they had such a good relationship, they'd always, you know, play, you know, from across the room, stuff like that. She said, you know, she said, that's the best thing you guys could have showed me. So I was really excited. I thought, man, we're doing something good now. So.
I've always heard if you hear a growling, that's not a real nice thing. And when it came across, like I said, he had no dog in the house.
Yeah.
We have no cats. We have nothing in the house except me and him at night. And he's usually asleep. So
Yeah.
when I thought he might have been snoring. Okay,
Yeah,
I
well,
really did. You know, and I went there and it was not him snoring.
Yeah. Well, the thing you got to think too is it could be. I mean, anything could be evil. Even a little girl coming over your voice recorder going, "Hi, I'm Jenny." Could be. It could be an evil spirit. You just never know, and they're going to come through the only way they can. And if maybe a grunt or a growl was the only way this spirit could, maybe it's, you know, it just doesn't know exactly how it can respond.
And it was like, oh Jesus.
And you know,
I already have one of those meetings with you.
and that's the thing. If you let them know that you've heard them once, at that point, you know, I don't know how it's going to be when I'm dead. Nobody up here does. I just know what I've learned from doing this is that once you start getting sounds and you start being able to respond to them right then, stuff starts talking to you more because it thinks you can hear it, and you can. That's what you're responding for. That's what you're kind of in it for, is to try to get answers for somebody that's there. And so the more that you let that spirit know that, hey, I can hear you, then they're going to try to do more to you. And that's why a lot of times people are more scared to have us come out, because it could get worse. Well, it could. And it's a risk that the homeowner understands when we go out. So I always try to explain, that spirit's gonna, if we're able to hear it and respond to it, it's very possible that it's going to try to hear and respond to us, more. That's where we go into the part of trying to help them, get rid of it. But I think somebody else is talking about all that. But it's just one of those things where you gotta just, how you feel about it. If you feel like you're gonna be,
The only thing, like I said, I just don't like going past his room.
yeah.
Seems like once you go past his room, and I'm not the only one that's in the house. Like I said, there's like another one that I work with. Actually, she's come back to the house to work again. But the guy that was working with me was there one day, and I was coming on, and he had something happen, but he wouldn't tell me. He just said there's something in the house, and I'm like, don't ask me. And and then I heard the growling a couple of days after that come across the monitor thing, and that's why I was asking, because I've heard they can't transfer from other houses, like voices of the mom or the baby's crying or stuff like that, be on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I see somebody could have had them swapped around, and the husband snoring, the wife put the wrong one in the wrong room. And
Probably.
she probably thought her baby was having all kinds of problems.
But let me tell you, I was not, no, I wouldn't think that was it.
Yep.
Every light in the house came on, I was not sitting in the dark no more.
Well, that's understandable, and I mean, that's a lot of what happens. I mean, you get scared, you shut its line of communication, chances are it probably won't, it probably won't try to mess with you too much. But if something happens and it gets bad enough,
I just felt like sometimes when I've told people this, they look at me like I'm a raving lunatic.
believe
Or
me.
I've lost my mind, okay?
Believe me, we won't. I promise. If
know,
you
and I've
ever
had
have
other-
anything, just
I've
let me
had other
know.
incidents with things that like.
Sometimes you gotta get it all out. Sometimes you just gotta tell somebody, and somebody's
And I
gonna
was,
believe you.
2 weeks ago, I had something happen to me personally. And I just got off work, I was taking a nap. As I started crying, I'm sorry,
You're fine.
because it really scared me. It was like I was being attacked. And I hadn't felt like that since day 2, when something bad happened to me. I went out and I was telling the girl I live with, because she's a roommate, I went and I told her what happened. She said, we need to go talk to, I went to talk to her husband then. He said, well, you're just going crazy. Or you're losing it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was in tears. I mean, it literally scared me that bad. It scared me that bad.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard when you don't have the support, when you feel like there's something happening and, nobody's willing to listen to you. But, if you ever get into that, feel free to give me a holler. I mean, I'll listen to you, and I'm not going to tell you you're crazy.
Well, I said, I didn't know what to say, because I've been raised in church, most of my life. And the words didn't come out, I wanted to come out, but I said, I refuse you, and it stopped instantly. So, it hasn't bothered me since.
Well, and a lot of it is too, your how you feel. If you have the energy and say, I don't want you here, it's very possible you could get rid of it that way. And you don't have to be a preacher, you don't have to be a priest. I mean, if you don't want something there, and you tell it you want it gone, sometimes it does work. Sometimes it doesn't, but it really depends on what you have in your home too. So you gotta eat.
Well, the gentleman, he has Indian beliefs. His wife, goes to church. And I've gone to church off and on, and, stuff like that. And, there's like, I don't know, dually religions in the house, I guess you could say, or whatever beliefs.
Yeah. That makes it hard too.
But like when that happened 2 weeks ago, it literally scared me. And I didn't used to sleep with the light on. Now my light is on. I have to sleep with the light on now.
I'm sorry you have to do that. That's why I try to help people, because I was scared of the dark until I was in my early 20s. 35 now, so it wasn't that long ago. And
Oh, I'm
That's been
I'm
my
around
thing.
50, so.
yeah, well, it's, you know, it hits you at any age, and you just, you know, if you have something that is traumatic, like I did, you know, a lot through my childhood, so I feel you, and I mean, people probably still to this day don't believe some of the stuff I tell them that happened when I was a
And
kid.
just, well, you're going crazy, you're working too many hours, you're under stress, da, 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 da.
Yep.
And I'm like, no, idiot, I've actually felt it. Like it's grabbing me.
Well, if you need, like I said, if you need a support group, just give me a holler one of these days, and I'll talk to you. I mean, I'll sit down with you. I don't have a problem doing that. It's free. I don't charge anything. This will never cost either. I'm glad you guys came for free today. But yeah, just give me a holler if you ever need anything. I'll be there for you. So.
I just wanted to get that out.
Yeah, hey, that's perfectly fine. That's what this is for.
It seems like in the last 2 years that I've had experience, this was more like a fire. And it scared me.
I can imagine. I mean, it
I'm
looks like
sitting
it.
here
Yeah.
shaking now talking
Yeah,
about
I
it.
mean,
It just,
it's something you shouldn't have to live with. And like I said, if you ever do need it, just get a hold of me. I mean, I don't have a problem at all. So we'll do what we can. It's time for take 2 minutes early. Go for it. Sherry with Owasso Paranormal. What did you change it to?
I haven't changed it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm Sherry, Owasso Paranormal Investigators. We're still in our infancy as far as how long that we've been a group, but I've been formally, professionally investigating since 2009. My group, I like to see us as a little bit of different than normal groups. We all have different religions, different backgrounds that we bring in to each case that allows us to stay open-minded with handling different clients. We run into every religion that you can think of, not just Christians. And we deal with a lot of Native American beliefs as well. So we have Jessica, that's Native American, and that, you know, we handle and we work with that. My topic is intelligent and residual haunting and the difference of. Residual is actually the more common type of hauntings that you run into, and that is basically, I mean, it's just emotions that are trapped in a spot. And that's in the wood, the nails, the beams of the location of the home, or even in the stones that are underneath the house, like limestone. Crystals that are in the ground can hold the energy there. More often than not, it's actually negative, traumatic experiences that are imprinted. I mean, we do run into the happy ones. For example, we may catch audio evidence of, you know, glasses clinking together or cheers from type of, you know, excitement, or even music from a party. That may imprint in the property. It also, give me a second. Residual energy, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person had to have died at the property to leave their,
You know, the one where, what was it, the necklace or something? that
Oh,
they
the
had brought
Indian
into the
necklace.
home?
Mhm.
And she
Yeah.
was an antique,
your time's over.
Oh, thank you.
Uh-huh.
she was an antique shopper.
Yeah. It's just, like I said, just emotions that are just trapped from domestic disputes or, goodness, I completely gone brain dead. It's usually domestic disputes. They're the Mineral Wells Hotel in Texas. A lot of paranormal shows have investigated that place. One of the things that it's well known for is a mistress was tied up and chained to a radiator in one of the rooms, and she eventually had died. That emotional stress that she had lived had imprinted right there. So a residual injury energy could be from someone who had died, falling down the flight of stairs, for example. That can leave. You can hear the thudding down the stairs just randomly throughout the day. Or goodness, I have completely screwed up. I am so sorry, guys.
You heard me talk,
Or you
right?
could feel it,
Huh?
you could feel achy or just feel like the energy, the pain or something like that.
Yeah. Let me just follow my paper. Shut up. Residual hauntings, they do play like a loop, like a broken record player, that only plays whenever it gets bumped. For example, if you and your partner are arguing, or you and your children are arguing, that kind of energy that you put out into the atmosphere can actually give enough energy for the imprint to play. Like I said, just like hitting an old record player or an old CD player, DVD player, sometimes you have to hit it to get it to actually work, right? Same thing with residual energy. It can play just like an alarm on your phone. For example, this husband waited until 10 o'clock until his wife came home, and then he unfortunately, shot her. Okay, well at 10 o'clock you're gonna hear something that sounds like a gunshot or, a backfire, or a car backfire or something. That time frame was very significant to that case. And it doesn't have to happen every single day, or once a week, or even once a month or something. That seems to be a little bit more random, but it's generally the same time, that whenever you experience it, whenever you hear it. Depression, if you are heavily depressed, that can actually feed residual energy as well. Because you're, just like with an intelligent haunting, that it needs that emotional fuel that we put off. And like I said, it needs it. So depression can use that. Let me see. A couple different signs that the haunting is residual. One of them is, that you notice that the spirit does not seem to interact with you, or it doesn't acknowledge that anyone is there or present. They're completely oblivious to seeing you, to anything you say, and you get excited and you throw something at it. It's not going to change. It's still going to play the exact same way, go the exact same direction it plans on. The apparition, if you do see an apparition, you'll see it come and go. Sometimes you'll see it and then it'll flicker sometimes. You can also hear residual noises, as in somebody walking upstairs. You can hear things moving around. You can hear something falling. But once you go and investigate it, you can't find the source of the actual noise. And that's just the energy exhibiting itself. The energy that is felt within a residual haunting can be tremendous for you when you're not expecting it. Just like with noises, just like with visuals of the haunting, the emotions themselves are stuck as well in the property. And that can range from, depression to anger to just being completely frightened. And you're going to feel those emotions. And the best thing that you can do in that situation is actually try to separate yourself as quickly as you can from it, calm down, and just automatically think in your head that it's not me. This is not happening to me. And as soon as you do, it's going to you're going to be able to understand the situation. You're going to be able to get a grasp better of it. For example, your case, I was thinking whenever you were talking to Jason, some of that could be residual, something that was left over, okay? You do have a lot of activity, people coming and going in the house. You guys are consistently busy with taking care of the client. So you're consistently stirring up the energy in the home, okay? Also, with someone who's disabled, they are more susceptible to spirits coming in because they can't necessarily control their emotions.
Yeah.
Or their emotions are heightened because of their situation. So,
Yeah, it doesn't have to make it look over for like 2 or 3 minutes, just one area.
mhm,
These people will not be noticed, like, I just kind of ignore, you know, like,
mhm,
Any circumstances, divorce, is it,
mhm.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, anything as in, like she said, divorce, child custody hearings, a death of a close one. I mean, just, you know, like when my father passed away, that was an extremely traumatic time for me. And it's possible that I could have imprinted in that room where I got the news.
yeah.
I mean, whenever I got the phone call that my father had passed away, unfortunately it was on Thanksgiving morning. And I mean, I went straight to my knees, and my oldest son, who was 10 at the time, tried to help me get back up. I mean, that was really traumatic. It was very unexpected. So, I mean, it could possibly, I could have imprinted in that room.
Well, since about April, I've been going through some major stuff.
Mhm. Well,
You know, but the growling happened like about a year ago,
mhm,
and so, and then the thing too, that happened about, almost 3 weeks now ago, like that happened 3 weeks ago.
mhm,
Yeah. Like I said, people have told me I was crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't help mine, you know,
nah,
so I just have told them, like, you know, I was a little bit skeptical about talking about it, because I didn't wanna get called crazy.
yeah. Well, whenever we go in and we do an investigation, any paranormal team, well, my team for sure, whenever you contact us and you request a case, we immediately call you, and we have a long series of questions. Some of them are very personal, but we have a lot of questions that we ask to get the best roundabout idea of the situation and what we could possibly be dealing with. And with, I mean, you said the activity had started a long time ago. I mean, that would let us know. Forgot where I was going with that. The emotions, what I was trying to say is that the emotions that you felt, and then the sounds, that could actually, and then, didn't you say that there was a smell? You smelled something?
No, I never smelled anything, I just heard a growling,
That was it?
at the house, where I work at, I've heard a growl.
Okay.
Where I was attacked 2 weeks ago was in the place where I live.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I had been fine down there. I was living down, I call it a dungeon,
Mm.
because it's off the laundry room. Maybe I should be calling it a dungeon, but it's really dark. I like it, you know, that way, but now I don't like it being dark no more after that. And I was fine up until 3 weeks ago being down there. And then I've been living down there since April of this year. And then bam, it just hit.
Yeah. Well, one thing to pay attention to, also, you can look for smells. Residual energy can put off smell, like perfume, cologne, and cigar smoke, flowers, that kind of thing. So, I mean, those are just a few of the signs of a residual haunting. And unfortunately, from what I know, I will not speak for anybody else, but for my opinion, there's not much that you can do for a residual haunting. You can try smudging, use burning white sage. You can try that.
That's the thing, her husband does sage the house,
mhm.
and that's why I don't know. But it's been like a month or so since he hasn't saged.
In my experience with smudging, in my experience only, I will not speak for anybody else, but in my experience, it's not only his responsibility for doing the smudging, but it's also everybody that is in the home.
Mhm.
It's their responsibility to keep up with the smudging. For example, yes, he's going through and he's burning sage, okay? But the next step is to stop thinking about it.
Mhm.
You hear something, you immediately put it out of your mind, because even thinking about it,
Mhm.
putting off those emotions, you're feeding that energy, okay? So that's part of smudging, is just cutting all ties. And so, I mean, that's everybody, all employees that's in the house too. It can't just be him and her.
Well, the house I live in is where they smudge. We don't do nothing to the house where I work.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
See, I've had these two things happen in different places.
Mhm.
The growling happened at work, and the attack happened at where I live.
Mhm.
But they're two different places,
Oh, okay.
you know, so, I don't know, maybe I'm carting something back and forth, I don't know.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, just go away and leave me alone. Sorry.
Well, with intelligent hauntings, is where the ghost or the spirit is aware of us as we are them. They're gonna appear at different times, places, in different forms, ways. And they're going to make themselves known, and they're gonna try to interact most of the time, with our environments in some way. Intelligent spirits are not quiet. I feel that they have something to tell us. They can mess with our electronics, our electrical, knock on our walls, hide things. They can slam doors, create cold spots when they're absorbing the energy in the room. Or they can even wake us up in the middle of the night. You can see them out of the corner of your eye, see them as a full-bodied apparition. Normally, if you actually do see a full body apparition and they turn around and look at you, 9 times out of 10, it's an intelligent haunting. Not unless, yes.
Go ahead and think, I do have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
I have a half brother, and he shot himself on Maple, that he died. And I was living at my parents', and I would have a mattress in the floor, right now. And sometimes I seen him while he was dead.
He was what? Walking what?
No, I could see him after he died.
Oh, okay. As in after the act had taken place. Okay. Was that in the exact room that he had passed away in?
No, he shot himself on Maple in the street.
Oh, in the street. Oh, okay.
But my dad and his dad, we had the same dad, but different mothers.
Oh, okay.
So he would come over and visit my dad and me and my little brother. That, me and my little brother, my mom had my little brother, so families had a different mother. So sometimes I would wake up and I'd see him sitting on my mattress.
I'm gonna get a little personal here. Is he covered in blood? I mean, is that the kind of look that he has?
No.
Or is it looks like he's just sitting there?
Right. 'Cause
Just
it was-
normal.
It was dark, so I couldn't see if he had blood on his face or not. Actually and honestly, he shot himself right there.
Okay. I wouldn't say that it's residual from his untimely death. I wouldn't say that. Had he ever been in there? I mean, did he ever live in that home? He never lived there. Had he ever been to the home?
Yes,
Did he spend any significant amount of time there?
about 2 or 3 hours visiting.
Just random though? Okay. Well, he could, I mean, just from that piece of information, I would think that he possibly could just be visiting. But unfortunately, he obviously was dealing with depression, before he had died. So he could just be trapped within his own mind. Just from that piece of information that you had given me,
Well,
I would think
he's
that.
hiding himself over a woman.
Yeah. I know, were you? Yeah. So, I mean, he could just be lost in his own mind. He doesn't know how to communicate or anything. He's just replaying the same unfortunate, things that was going through his mind before he died.
When he visited with my dad, he was always in the front room, so that's why I had my mattress, was in the front room.
Yeah. Possibly, I mean, you can't say no to one thing of what it could be. Sometimes with intelligence spirits, one of the things that I was gonna say is that they're here on this plane for a reason, and each spirit is different. He may not be aware that he's dead yet. He's stuck in that depressive state, and he just doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know which way to turn. He doesn't know which way is up.
For a while.
Yeah. And another thing, I mean, intelligent spirits, they can come back to, deliver a message, or, to stay, because they're just lost. They don't know how to move on.
And my dad and my mom, they would always fight with her. And one night, I was sleeping in my dad's bed with my brother. My little brother had cerebral palsy. And he couldn't walk and talk and stuff like that, so he had to sleep with my mom. While my mom and dad were fighting with her and stuff. And when I went to bed, I seen my brother come into my dad's my room, and he sat on a knee, and he was looking at my dad, and all of a sudden I seen him go into the hall and into my mom's room, so I got up quietly to follow him, and he stood over my mom. So I don't know what that was about.
Was he staring at her?
And that was after he passed away.
He could have something to say to her. Maybe he just needs her attention. I mean, that's another thing with intelligent spirits, is they want attention. I mean, you're gonna have a few that just that wanna be left alone. They're quiet. They don't intend for you to see them. They're not intending for you to hear them. They just wanna coexist, but most generally, they're loud. They make themselves known, they want attention. Because, I mean, as humans, do we wanna be alone? We're social creatures. We reach out to other people to have that interaction. So, it's just the same as in death.
And my dad both died, so he hasn't been seen at my house for a long time.
He possibly could have found peace and moved on. He could have. Yeah. Like I was saying, not all intelligent spirits, they try to invoke interaction. But just like how we are in this life, we're gonna be the same in the next. As in if, like Jason was saying, the jokester, the caretaker that was a jokester, he was the exact same way after he had died. Same thing goes, your loving, caring grandmother, as soon as she passes, you're still, if she's around, you're going to sense that same warm, loving, caring atmosphere that she had put off whenever she was alive. Same thing goes whenever they are troublesome spirits, bitter and angry. They're gonna make you feel that turmoil that they put off whenever they were alive. And with malevolent spirits, the angry, the evil ones, they get mistaken for demons and poltergeists quite often. But they were human just like you and I. You do have to worry about those, especially whenever you go to like classify. Is Max going to talk, since we've got so much time?
I think he may take some questions, he's not really
Okay.
wanting to do it.
Okay, well, one of us was going to talk about demonology. And they could go into it more in depth than what I'm willing to, but, whenever we go and do an investigation, we have to look at the complete picture. We have to ask tons of questions, and because I think I can speak for every team here, we really look at the evidence that we collect. We really look at the research that we do on the location or on the family. Because, one, we can prove that. You know, there's nothing that you can argue. But also, it's gonna allow us to zero in better on the outcome, or, you know, get a handle on the situation. Am I out of time yet?
No.
I think you've got quite a bit of time.
Are you serious?
You got about 30 more minutes?
I do not do public speaking. I almost failed speech in college. So,
Nobody sensed it at all.
shut up.
Just saying.
Have you this kind of stuff to talk about? Because I want to know so much about what wasn't. I want to know how we think, okay, this one is more.
Here, okay, I did have some
Because he
information.
pointed at the screen and he
Yes.
said, here's an orb, and it was just
Yes.
right. So
Jason, can you pull that image back up?
Thanks.
One of those images.
Possibly, which one?
Right one.
There was
Right
one.
one.
I do not agree with him when it comes to orbs.
Oh,
And I
don't
want to
compare
say
you to
that
me.
pretty much every paranormal or investigator out there has a different opinion whenever it comes to orbs. Yes, there's dust. Yes, there's dew. Yes,
They're
Matt.
positive energy, but not all of them are always on.
yes,
It's like dust, moisture, bugs.
yes.
Yeah.
Snow.
And if there's, if it actually has, like, if it
Air-
can move the way,
If it has its own way,
Has its own
pattern, its own, exactly.
Yes.
Evidence of that.
Do you
It
still
gives off
have
its
the
own
email of the video that I
But
sent
a
you?
lot of the orbs you can say, no, that is not, and you can dismiss, right?
You don't still have it, honey.
Here, one of the things that, for orbs for me, is yes, bugs. Well, especially in video. If you have a good enough resolution, you'll see legs, you'll see the wing movement. But if you've got just a run-of-the-mill camera, it's gonna look like a circle, a moving circle. Especially in night vision, infrared, it's gonna put off different colors. So,
Like the orange and.
Mhm. You can also, if you have a lot of metal in the area, you'll have rust flakes floating through the air. If it's real windy, or if a tree is near a tin barn, for example, a tree is near it, rubbing it, you're gonna have those rust flakes, and it's gonna put off the red in the air, or the color. But one thing that does intrigue me is the colors, the multiple colors. And if you capture it in video, that's always the best, okay? Pictures, it's really hard because you weren't there, you didn't see it, you don't know what the temperature was, you don't know the dew point, you don't know how, windy or not, you don't know if the house was clean, you don't know if it's out in the middle of the country. I mean, there's so many variables that you just don't know about with the picture. With the video, though, it's a lot easier for me, but for us to help clients distinguish what it could be. And it also validates a haunting. It could validate a haunting.
I'll find it. Try to. You want the one without audio, don't you?
Yeah. Just go to your sent email.
Yeah.
I have a video of a client's house that we just did. I was just setting up my video camera. The night vision on it was not very good. It's a pretty cheap. Just to throw this out there, this is not a cheap hobby by any means. This is a very expensive hobby. Not only do we have, as you can see, Chickasha's equipment in all their boxes, you can spend thousands of dollars on equipment, then you have gas, you have food, you have lodging, you have to, some locations that are haunted, you have to pay to get in, just to hunt their location. Per person, yes. So, I mean, it's not cheap. But this video camera is not the top of the line. And I was using a extra help of a flashlight, a special flashlight, to give it some added light. But the only one that was in the room with me was Michelle, and she was directly to my right, out of frame. I'm not using any flashlights or anything. I had just turned it on, and there's no audio because it says all the client's information because I was tagging that video. So we blocked out all the audio. But
I think I found it. Oh my God. May not be, this may be the one I went over with you the other day.
you didn't know, Michelle? That's funny.
Really?
What's your natural hair color?
Mine?
Michelle? Yeah.
Yeah, your voice is it. Right.
All right,
Tell
guys,
them
take
you
a
have blonde
second.
reds.
It's not on my Dropbox.
I didn't.
And I can't.
No, you sent it to me regular email.
This is how I actually sent it.
Why is it tattooed on or
So you
something?
sent it to me. Playing to send the audio, didn't you? Oh, you sent it to me in Dropbox.
No. I sent it to you to go start up. There you go. I'm sorry, guys. I really am.
Eric was on my mom's side of the family.
Blackfoot, right?
Yeah, Blackfoot on my dad's side. My great grandmother was full blooded Indian. My mom's got pictures of her, you know, full dress.
Please,
Her
thank you.
grandfather was something about great.
She was talking about our equipment and about how expensive a hobby this is, and it is, because we've got another 1, 2, 3, 4 cases behind us, 5 cases, and one that we didn't even carry in. So it is very expensive. It can be very costly. And then like Sherry said, depending on where all you're willing to travel, we're from Chickasha, for instance. And traveling, we've traveled to Arkansas several times, which I will talk about when it's my turn to get up here. And we've traveled to Missouri. We've traveled all over to go to investigations. And we've done a lot of stuff. This is Stevens County SCARS, and they're out of the Duncan area predominantly. And so we've investigated a lot with them. And they can tell you, can see their setup. We didn't even bring our monitor in. We have it with us, but we didn't bring it. But it gets very expensive because any little item that you have basically is $100. I mean, that's what you're looking at whenever you start investigating. You know, they were talking, either Sherry or Jason once said something a while ago about a millimeter. And, you know, they're over $100. I mean, every little item that you can pack into your case is about $100. So whenever you have all these different cases and all the different things that you need for this hobby, it gets very expensive. And then like she was elaborating on the meals, the gas. Sometimes you have a member that's, you know, at this time can't afford to, you need them to go because you need your members, you need as many as you can get with you most of the time. And sometimes they say, man, I'd go, but I can't because, you know, I'm broke and I can't pay for meals right now or whatever. Most of the time I'll say, come on, I'll spot you because we need the person there. So, and you guys are more than welcome after this is over to come up and look at the different equipment that we have and everything. we're more than willing to let you see. This little guy, Max, when did we get him? Got him in January, and I don't know who watches Ghost Hunters or anything like that, and if they've ever seen this, but this is like having another investigator with you, because he has the temp gauge, so he can tell you if the temperature has gone up or down. He will say that tickles, you're touching my stomach, or I like holding your hand, or the hands will light up if you touch, if it feels something, if it senses something there. And it asks questions, and it has a recorder. So, did you get that? I quit talking. I was trying to fill in for help her out. But it's like having another investigator along with you, so it's a pretty neat little thing. And he's at about $150.
Is this on autoplay? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
Okay, you're gonna look up here on the right side of the screen. You're going to see that light right up there. That night, it was in the low 40s, high 30s. That's how cold it was in the house, and as well as, I mean, outside, and in the house it wasn't much warmer at all. So there was no chance for bugs, flying bugs anyway. And once it plays again, look down here in this part of the screen, you're gonna see a different color at a different time. There it goes. You're gonna see it, and then you're gonna see that one. Did you just see that?
No.
That was dust. Okay. It has a mission. It's going straight towards it. It's going to go in any which way. So you'll be able to tell. It looks like it's snowing.
Look like going around the corner and went up.
Yes. Yeah. Dust looks like snow. So I mean, it's easy to dismiss. What's questionable, and I believe is energy orb, was the one that was up there at the top right there. Because once I zoomed in on, and I don't think that you can, but when I had zoomed in, there was a mixture, several different colors. It wasn't just one. And then of course, that right there was blue. Now my flashlight is blue, but you see it hitting straight towards, and it's not moving. As soon as I sat my camera down, moved it just enough, set my flashlight down to help with the picture, and then I didn't touch it, and then you see me at the very end just adjust my camera, that's it. I didn't adjust my flashlight. So I would argue Jason, and even him, even he had questioned it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, to me, I mean, that would be more, that's a better example of a possible orb than just a picture. I mean, that one actually does look like it does. Yeah, it has something it's doing. And it comes out of, I mean.
Oh, and that red light at the top of the screen, that's a digital recorder sitting in the top of the closet. Now, the person that reviewed that recorder said that they could argue every piece of evidence they found. If we can argue, then we're throwing it out. If we can come up with a possible reasoning behind whatever noise or whatever voice that we heard, it's immediately thrown out. But it does seem that it comes from either the closet, the what?
It looked like it came out of that door over there.
That's a closet.
Like a closet, yeah.
That give you a little bit of a backstory about this case. In this particular room, it was the daughter's room. The pets would, correct me if I'm wrong guys, but the pets would actually lay and stare at the closet and bark at the closet, as well as the mirror. The dogs had no problem with mirrors. They had no problem seeing other animals or anything.
And the mirror wasn't new. The mirror had been there for a long time, and the dogs hadn't messed with
Yeah.
the mirror before.
Yeah. So, I mean, this just gives you a little piece of what everything that Jason had talked about.
Just throwing it all out the window.
Yeah. I like to do that. Throw this stuff out. But respectfully, I'm one of his old members, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Best case manager I ever had.
Oh, you are so
Trying to get it to close
sweet.
it.
You want me to close my group?
And join me.
Wait a minute. I did not believe this was discussed.
Just kidding.
You wanna come with me? Okay.
Okay, guys, mine is done. I apologize for messing up so much, but, I don't do public speaking at all, so. Okay, Lisa, it's your turn.
Yeah, I think, Jason, is this where you want to,
Yeah.
if you guys need to go to the restroom?
Now that all you
get your
guys just
water,
got here, we're gonna take
and
a
when you
little
come
break.
back, I'm going to talk about personal experience versus documentation.
How long are we gonna?
15-minute break.
Yeah. Don't leave.
Yeah, please come back, 'cause we have a lot to talk about.
Hey, Jeremy, leave it running.
I was going to. It's good timers.
And it was funny because when she told you, she said it was
Bring it all the way.
I never said you know, but I can help out.
We'll know later. won't we?
Not to.
Because that's, like I said,
You do a lot of public speaking.
I was speaking, right, and before that, 20 years in radio, so I'm real comfortable.
Yeah, I thought this was what you talked about.
No, I know, I literally almost felt.
Talking about paranormal and
are you staying up here?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't get out.
Yeah.
Okay, I will let you know time if you tell me that this is not
Can I tell you that
If you
we've
tell
had a
me
piece
it's
of
not.
evidence that was order related, and he did have it because it passed through the
Hi,
wall,
Kyle.
to another room, then it went through the other.
Jason?
We have it on the
You guys-
DVR. Yes. Well,
Okay.
we'll have
Tell me it's not live, or if you tell me it was live, then you've gotta give me $5 to help my drinking habit here in a couple hours.
it.
Cause I'm,
It is, but there's nobody but.
there's no viewers?
No.
Okay.
You were talking about residual harm. I used to work at the domestic violence center, and that building was built in 1880. It was really old. And before it became as big as nuns from Stanford Church. And we believe that several nuns have died there. And sometimes the shelter is completely empty.
Is there audio?
I'm there at like, I have the 12 to 8 shift. And then
12 p.m. or 12 a.m.?
12 a.m. to 8 a.m.
If I do this.
You know, about 3:30 in the morning, I pack back in my chair in the office.
Anything?
And you hear sounds, there's nobody else there but me.
Well, fine. Keep it running.
And, you hear footsteps on the stairs. He's got such a
Yeah.
And one night I was crouched back in my chair, kind of half asleep, and something comes up next to me. I could feel
Anything
something.
else?
And it whispered my name in my ear.
It whispered your name?
Yeah.
I'm an investigator, but that is the best thing in the world is to hear having to say your name.
Yeah.
I'm an
It
investigator.
has to be because look,
It's scary.
And other
it's
people in my team have said, yeah, they personally could see I was scared. Someone's running back and forth on the upper level.
Yeah. With the domestic abuse, it being a shelter for the victims, survivors, I would definitely say there's residual energy because they're carrying all of that mental baggage with them. And they also go through the 7 steps of grieving as well. Whenever they finally put their foot down, stand up for themselves and say no more, they go through 7 steps of grieving.
See, the thing is, out of habit, I bought him a lighter and then Crystal bought him a sprat.
Yeah, there's nothing actually, I don't feel
think
there's
you would
anything
mind.
that actually can be done with
Jason,
residual
do you have
energy.
celery spray?
You can have your
Can he,
turkey.
can he have a game
I'm such a horrible speaker, but
I was gonna go get something to drink.
one thing I
Should've stopped at the
say
gas
is that
station.
you can have the leader of your church or your religion.
come and bless the home, bless the
Okay,
home.
okay.
You can
Love you
burn
lots.
sage incense to help, or to cleanse the area, or simply just talking to the spirits and saying it's okay to go. It's okay to go.
I would talk to you. I'm okay with you being here, just leave me alone.
Yeah. Simply standing your ground and saying, leave me alone, just like this right here did. That's a big thing. That's a big thing to spirits. Not all spirits. Not all spirits like it. But most of them, the biggest part of them, they'll leave you alone as soon as you stand your ground.
And, you know, it's
I don't know what, I guess you guys just took a picture and showed up.
I'm okay, you're here, just leave me alone.
Not the other I couldn't.
Yeah.
But the thing is that.
Well, good for you. Because you need it. Like I said, you always need to calm yourself and try to calm yourself as quickly as you can. Because when you do, you take energy away from them. You're taking food out of their mouth. You know? So.
The more worked up you get, the more.
Yeah. Yep. The more worked up, the stronger they become.
I was calm, but I mean, it really scared me, so I really thought about it later.
Yeah. Well, it is scary, and it's easier said than done to, you know, try to calm yourself as quickly as you can. But, I mean, as an investigator, we train ourselves to calm down because we take power away from them. So, yeah. We're gonna do other Q&A later and stuff. And if there's anybody specific that you wanna ask my question to, once they're here at the end, you can always do that. And I will. I'm gonna go and have a cigarette. And breathe. I know.
You did good, you did good.
No, it only gave me like.
You didn't ever hurt or anything, it just was there?
Like I said, I just wanted to get worked up, you know, and I'll get dressed or that. I'm not like that.
Yeah, you need to buy the car. Just go buy a car just to
I would too, if I didn't come from AT&T for the first one.
There was one where they
When you're having all these kind of like emotions and stuff, don't like you're feeling kind of borderline. There's a term for it. It's not. And at that point, I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to tell yourself not to do that.
Well, how am I supposed to fix it?
Check and see.
When I go down here, not that way. You're not getting any out of there.
Yeah. Dude, that was fun. I sucks that I tore it down. That was my place. Oh, was it with us, or was it with somebody else?
Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think you came with us, what, didn't you? Yeah. Because I was there. Yeah. Yeah, and that was fun. Oh, yeah.
I don't want to.
Well, you know, that is a thing that people don't understand.
It's helped, but it seems like it's made me more expensive.
That's from my computer, by the way. That was from my computer.
Maybe try not wearing it for a week and see where you get with it.
I did that, my blood pressure started at 250 over 125. And I had severe nosebleeds, I put it back on.
You just, you know, and it's going to be one of those trial and error things. If you tried that, then yeah, I mean, it's going to be a kind of a something we got to do. Oh, you're nervous. I was like, rain or something?
I know. Nobody loves me enough to say anything. He's even mad.
Like I said, you feel like you're not at your wit's end, give me a holler, and we'll either come check it out or just talk.
I put it really straight.
If you ever catch something, you can send it to that, my email.
I know, it's some program.
And I can.
Is that what you're supposed to say?
There's our email, just send it to me and I'll go through whatever you guys want to send me. And
Whenever I get.
they're all, they've been in my wallet for a while.
I'm sure everybody's still fine.
Oh, yeah. Unless we whited out something, but yeah, just.
I mean, I got
Billy, checked my house, he said it was just, because me and my son were staying there. The bedroom door would creak open.
That's a lot.
And Dewey came and he said, well, it was just no ghosts. Me and my son experienced.
Sometimes, like, you know, it's like you've heard, you know.
I don't know what to do.
Can't make anything happen. Sometimes it won't happen the first time they come into the place because we're different. We're not, you know, something common there. So, you know, in a case like that, I would bring the clients back in my next one. And
It's
just
just a
do
lie.
Yeah. Well, I had
Shut off the
one.
hub.
I gave that up when I got rid of that group. I, you know, we have batteries and stuff. But, yeah, I mean, if it, you know, if it doesn't happen, nothing happens while we're just there by ourselves, and we bring the clients back in and try to see if maybe the client is, it could be attached to you, it could be attached to yourself. I I've had to do the whole investigation on that apartment. And everybody was gone except us. We didn't catch anything. The lady came back and brought her son.
I don't want to.
Her daughter. And when her daughter came back, all her neighbors started acting funny, and we started catching, voices, and we were just doing, hey, we're going to out and leave. And I wish we had stayed longer. We had a lot of stuff from that. It's one of those things where we're trying to offer to get somebody to help, their daughter, hopefully help.
Then why should it's supposed to pay to get the
I
audio?
don't know what happened there, but, there is something responsible. It could be a
Something
fact,
stupid.
but it's gonna be something you have to be in control there. Yes. I'll listen to it. I've got,
Wait, shut up.
well, I got software I can actually make it louder and stuff. So,
Anything?
feel free and we'll do contact again. So, just
Hello?
Get on the page, react it. That's how I pick people now. It's not a really contest. It's more of, if I see your name a lot, you're going to do something. Hey, you go. I give you something. Well, I don't know.
Choose it in.
It's hard. It was hard when I had Bark for Paranormal because we had so many people that wanted to go. And like the program we used to pick people.
That's stupid.
It was way too random. I mean, I had to put in, I think by the end of it, we had like 2,000, we had to add all 2,000 people. We'll get you one. I just gotta get some places going again. When you've done everything in Martinsville, it's hard to find new places to go that are exciting. Well, what it is the Dalton gang it's in Coffeyville. What we did, we didn't actually do a building. What we did there was where the gunfight started, and then we went down to the alley where that passed away, in the jail and stuff like that. But it's more of an outdoor investigation.
Seriously,
We
don't
went to
think
the cemetery
anything
where
worse
they
than
buried
I did.
I'm gonna wait to do any more outside. We can do it. We can set something up. I plan to do it again.
I don't know.
We didn't catch a whole lot of evidence.
But it stores
but
into the
it
server?
wasn't neat.
So we can pull it later.
We have to get.
You're gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
I
Like, I don't know. You know what?
I got X in there, so.
Okay, you better than I did.
Yeah, so but I'll get something set up. It'll probably be in spring, like April or May, probably before we'll do an outside one again. Yeah, just get on Facebook. Get on Facebook.
Yeah, that's what I did.
That's all you
Well,
do.
I had done that on my phone, I heard somebody's talking point, and then I
It's like
started
for us, but yeah,
thinking it.
We'll do
And then I was
something,
like, no, I gotta
make
have
another
it.
Facebook.
And then once
get
I
all
actually
the-
tried to call out and started recording myself.
Because you guys
I
are
was
all
like,
together.
I'm never gonna remember that, I have to read it now.
Yeah, we can set something up. I mean, if you guys all wanna do it, we'll set something. I got one.
I didn't want to get out of there.
We're,
Ever since then, I've been, I started getting comfortable, it's on the recorder and.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
That was bad.
I think we can start it back up.
Legally.
That would be.
Now, back.
Yeah. Get a plan. Well, don't you have to install it?
Well, if we end up having a
No,
session.
it just worked. We actually test the snowball. It's actually picking up stuff.
Well, the thing is, on my phone, their audio for that stuff. Don't cut out on the computer. I don't know.
Is that 196?
I think somebody's recording it.
Or
I'm gonna take their video.
It's south of that one.
And they can screen it. Well, my
Why
son's
couldn't you
one.
get on me?
Maybe he didn't know where to go. He was lost in the library.
So they're eating. If it's
They should have been a sign. Right?
No, she likes to make sure everybody has her.
Leave dinner.
I was gonna say, no, I think you are, Mama.
Like, you know,
Girls head.
we got a big old bottle of wine.
Oh, she moved. I was looking that way. I had it pointed that way.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get it
No, it's why he moved it.
more comfortable. Oh my God, I look horrible.
What the hell?
More pictures.
Do we think about everybody's thing in here, or want to give it another minute or two?
Yeah,
Want to give it
like
to the
couple
40
minutes.
mark? Want to give it to the 40 mark?
Yeah, give it.
I mean, because I'm talking.
Wait, why am I taking pictures of this?
Is her phone locked?
Or is it just the light?
Just to be cool.
No, it's just the lighting.
Well, I'm not. Did you send them to her? Text them?
I was using her phone.
Oh, well then I'll,
I think it, we'll start back at 40, so.
What?
why is people over here?
About what?
Who's your taking?
Because the one that Daryl just sent is really good.
Send them to me?
Orange. Don't go too far. Good going.
Doing your insurance, huh? You just paid on time.
This month's 123.
The only one that
How
was
many cars?
It's usually about
Should I have taquitos?
I get really, I get false comparison every time. It's like when I remember, oh yeah, my house is bundled on there. Then I have multi-car. My mom's on I just pay my mom's insurance too. 2 cars, full coverage, costs me $150.
That's actually pretty good.
My car is exactly like this, except for hers is 14.
You look like you're gonna kill it.
Is everybody back in, we think?
I was actually trying to look.
Okay.
We're a Honda family.
We say that in here, come
So my dad's got 2 elements, 2 pilots, and a
Or she.
Now my mom has a Civic and I have a Civic.
I can't see clothes, so I can't tell.
We only have one Ridgeline in the family. We need another one.
Okay, everyone. My name's Lisa Hatchett. I'm with Chickasha Paranormal Research Society. We're out of Chickasha, obviously. And we have 12 members, but today it's just myself and Max Wagner. Max actually founded our group. Max is my son, and we live in a haunted house, and he got the pleasure, I guess, of growing up in the most haunted room of my house. And we know for a fact that someone had passed away there. And then, like I say, Max grew up back there, and he experienced a lot of things. And I will admit that whenever he first started telling me, you know, he was younger, and he'd say he heard a noise or he saw this, and I'd, you know, maybe not, because he was younger. And really just kind of didn't listen to him. And then he wanted to start the group after he got older. And like I said, we have 12 members. And as with everything, you know, people have to work, or we had another member who comes with us to absolutely everything. And she's a great team member, but she had a granddaughter's birthday in Arkansas today, so she had to go to that. So things happen. That's why we have 2 people here. And we talked a little bit about the expensive hobby. It is time consuming, and it is difficult finding dedicated members, because you have people that will always tell you, oh man, I've always wanted to do that, or I'd love to go with you, but actually finding somebody that will dedicate that time and the hours upon hours that it takes, from the setting up investigation, seeing it all the way through, and reviewing evidence, and letting the person know. It's a lot of time. It doesn't just happen in that 1 hour time span like on Ghost Hunters or Ghost Adventures. It takes a lot of time. And another thing about shows versus our groups up here, we don't run. That aggravates me more than anything else whenever I see that on TV.
and they all, you know, do we jump? Obviously. But when they take off out of the house running, I mean, we'd be fired for that because we don't do that. And we also don't put things out there that we don't believe 100% is concrete evidence. We just don't do it. So if you see it on our YouTube page, if you see it on our Facebook page, it's because that we 100% believe that. And I'm just going to talk about personal experience versus documentation, because I've had a lot of people that have told me over the years, we've been doing this about 4.5 years, and they'll say, well, I've never experienced anything. I've never had anything happen to me. And I said, really? Stop and think about that. Have you ever felt like you were touched and you weren't? Probably most people have. And have you ever thought you saw something, but then you look and then you go, well, maybe it was this or maybe it was that. So you chalk it up to something else. And most people have done that. So you can't just put that out of your head. Now, I'm not saying everything is paranormal, because it's not. And there are times that we go to places and we will really hope we're going to find something there. But like Jason said, we can't make it happen. So we don't know if it's going to or not. And sometimes we might go to a place 3 or 4 times, and the people keep calling us and go, I'm telling you, this is here. And we may not catch it the first couple of times, but then we might do that the 3rd time that we show up. And I'm just gonna tell you guys that about 18 years ago, I actually passed away. They called code blue, and I passed away. Max was just a child. And that's one of the things that they feel like makes me a good paranormal investigator, because I really do feel things really strongly that some of the other group members don't. I mean, I feel it so strongly I feel sick to my stomach. That's how strongly I feel it. And I'll give you for an instance. We went to a place, I don't know if anybody has ever heard of Tussie, Oklahoma, but we went to Tussie, Oklahoma. And there was a place there that we went to as a private residence. But we walk in, and it's laid out just like a funeral home. It smelled like a funeral home. I mean, it was like we were in a funeral home. And mirrors everywhere. And so we're walking through the house, and of course I'm feeling this feeling. And we go into a bedroom. Walk in this bedroom, and there's mirrors all along this wall, and it's closet, but it's all mirrored. And I mean, I'm just like, you know, oh. And one of the other guys that's in our group, he looks at me and he goes, did someone die in this room? I said, yeah. And Max said, no. And I said, yeah. So he goes and gets the owner. Did anyone pass away in this room? You know, because she's really feeling this. She said, well, would it make a difference if the clothes my son was murdered in or in this closet right behind this? Yes, that makes a difference. That's what we're feeling. And he had been murdered by his, at the time, wife, and she had ran him over, and these clothes were bloody, and she kept them for some reason, and she had them there in that closet. So that was something we felt really strong. Now, is that documented? No. But it's a personal experience that I know for a fact happened, but did we put that out? No, because that's a personal experience. And then, get up here. We went to another private residence, this one on the outskirts of Chickasha. It's out in the county, and we go to it. This lady had contacted us. She said, I really need help. This, and this is going on. And she's like, kind of like what you said, I really don't want you to think I'm crazy. I need you to come out here and tell me I'm not crazy. You know, this is happening. And she had documented all of this in a diary. So we go out to her place, and it's just me and Max and Derek. It was a blizzard. It was December, January. And so we go out there, and her place is very small. It was laid out. There was just the living room, the bedroom, dining room, kitchen, restroom, and laundry room. That's it. That's how big this house was. So we go out there, and we had started out our investigation that night, just the 4 of us in the house. And we always take a break. After a little bit, we'll go through and then we'll take a break. And Max is in the dining room, and me, Derek, and the lady that has this house, we're in the living room. And Max goes, shh, listen, listen. And so everybody gets quiet, and we hear. And this is going on, and this is in the kitchen, and we hear this, and we all run in there. Of course, we all are looking in the kitchen, you know, and we don't see anything, obviously, but the clock is getting louder and louder and louder, and the footsteps just keep happening like it's somebody just going around and around this dining room table, like they're just pacing in there in the kitchen. So, of course, we're very excited. Me probably more than, you know, everybody. I get really excited and passionate about this stuff. And it stops. Just as suddenly as it starts, it just stops. And, you know, our first thought is, gosh, I hope we caught that on audio, you know. And we did. So that was a personal experience that we can document, because we did capture it on audio, but we did hear it with our own ears. And then, of course, I'm like, wow, that was awesome. And she says, I have to live here. So there was another place that we love to go to, which is, we called it the Old Victorian House. Been around for over 100 years. And Dustin and them from SCARS went with us on that one. That's a awesome place. And so we go to it, and we always capture something there after the first 2 times. First 2 times, nothing. I mean nothing. And these people are calling us going, look, there's something going on. We tell you there's something going on. Well, we go there, and after that we started really getting things. After the 3rd time that we'd been there, the last time I think that we were there, we had lights come on in that house. Now this is real important, because we had a generator that we brought with us, because there's no electricity. The people up and moved. They left it. They said, you guys can have, the bank can have everything in this house. We're out of here. And they left the house, and they left everything in it. And so the lights come on in this house. And what's going on? So we take off downstairs, and I'll just tell you, I work for the sheriff's office there, and one of the other group members is a deputy there at the sheriff's office. And we actually call and say, send somebody else out here. We're going to go through this house and make sure that it's not somebody setting up some kind of a drug house, and they're running it, and they didn't realize we were here investigating it or something. And we go through the house, and the other deputy, it's funny because he was not a believer, was not at that time. And it's a 3-story. And they chased the footsteps. And he kept saying, well, they're going right there. They're on the 2nd floor. I hear them. And go all the way up. Of course, there's nothing in the house. Clear the house. There's nothing there. We got the lights. We got the footsteps. But we didn't get it on audio or video, because, like I said, we were setting up a generator, because we were going to have to run all of our stuff off of that. So we weren't able to get that on audio and video that night. It was personal experience. Numerous members there, probably about 10, we all heard it, saw it, but it wasn't something we documented. Now there was another time we were there, I think the time before that, and we were upstairs. I don't know if you're familiar with a spirit box. Everybody? Okay. And we had a spirit box, and it seemed to really be mad at Max. It was saying Max's name and saying, kill Max. And Max had, at the family's request, brought a priest to the home to try to get rid of whatever was in there. And so he came in, blessing the house, using holy water, and it made it mad. Because sometimes, and I know that Sherry was talking about smudging and stuff, and sometimes the first time or 2, that doesn't always work either. It does sometimes tend to make them more mad before you actually get rid of it. But that was a pretty cool place that we always investigated. Then we had the old hospital This was like the original hospital in Chickasha. That was one of our favorite places to go. And we actually caught on video. We had the DVR system set up like Scars has down there at the end. We had that set up, and we're downstairs, and it seems like when we take breaks we get more stuff. But we were on a break, and we're sitting downstairs, and of course we're watching the monitor. We're looking at what's going on. And upstairs, with no one upstairs, a light turns on in a room. And I mean, you see us, it's not actually on our YouTube page, and you see us as we run up the stairs to go to this room. And, you know, we had a lot of things like that happen. We'd hear a lot of noises. We'd get a lot of stuff. One time some, like rock had fallen or been thrown, because it didn't fall off the walls, but had been thrown. And then one time, which was kind of funny, and Max might get mad at me for telling this, but it was pretty funny. One of our members, Derek, he has a flashlight in his hand, and he's holding it. And it's off, but he had a hold of it in case he wanted to turn it on. Well, it was one of these type of flashlights. And he's holding it, and he says, "Lisa, come touch my arm." So I walk up and I touch his arm, and he said, "Feel how cold that is?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "It's like something has a hold of my arm." I mean, his arm was ice cold, and the light turns on in his hand. We watch it turn. And so we tell Max, because we're pretty excited about that, "Hey, you know, check this out." And Max goes, "No." He turns off the flashlight. "No, you must have moved it in some way to make it turn on." And he's trying to, because he will debunk anything. And so he's doing this, and it won't come on. And so he goes, "Okay, well, I don't know why it came on, but I'm telling you, it didn't just come on." It comes on in Max's hand. So that was a really neat one. And then I think Sherry was talking about full body apparitions. I've seen lots and lots of shadow figures, and I've always said I can't wait to see my first full body apparition. Well, we were on a submarine in Arkansas that's in the water, and so we're on it. Well, the submarine, the passageway is about this wide. I mean, it's very, very, very narrow, and each room has two little doors you can go through, and they're open doors, ports or whatever they call them. And anyway, so we had been in the captain's room. Well, we're getting some good stuff in there. We got some EVPs, we got some different things in there. And we decided we're going to go across the hall, because across the hall was where the officers' mess was. Well, the officers' mess dining room table also was where they did emergency surgeries, because, you know, submarine, you only have a limited amount of room. So they had a light on there. So I'm thinking, well, we probably can get something over here, because being as it's, you know, was used for surgery. So we go across there and walk in that room. I go first, and I set the equipment down that I'm carrying, and I look up, and in that other, because I walk in here, and in this one right here, I see a guy go by. I thought it was Max, because he was the only one on that end, because the rest of our group was at this end, and we just had me, Max, and another one of our team members down here, and it was a female. And I see this guy go past with dark hair and black and white, you know, on, and I'm like, "Max!" And I'm hollering, "Max!" And I look at her, and I said, "I thought he was coming in here." And she was going, "Ha, ha." And that's all she could get out, because she actually saw it from the full vantage point standing there in the hallway. He comes up from behind her and says, "Why are you yelling?" And I said, "That wasn't you." And he said, "No." And I went after it, but unfortunately I didn't catch it. And unfortunately, that was personal experience. It did happen. It was my first full body apparition. We did some interviews with some newspapers, and I told them that, because it happened. Can I prove it? No, but it happened. And then we were on an investigation. The city of Tuttle actually contacted us, Tuttle, Oklahoma, and said, "We have 4 places here in the city of Tuttle we want you to investigate." And the city manager went with us, and they gave us a letter so that if anybody questioned if we were allowed there, we could say, "Yes, we have this letter saying that we are here upon authorization of the city of Tuttle." And Scars went with us on that one, and because it was so big, it was 4 places, and they had the old city hall, the new city hall, and a couple other places, the old jail, and they wanted us to investigate. So we go there, and the new city hall was being built. And they say to us, yeah, this is where we're building the new city hall. This is the only place that we know of that a murder was committed in the town of Tuttle. And we're okay. And they said a police officer was murdered. He was sitting here having dinner, and it was a restaurant at the time. And a guy had robbed a place, and he pulled up, and he was afraid the police officer was going to recognize him, so he shot and killed him. Okay, so I say, about where was this, where was he murdered? Right here. And I said, you put an elevator on the place where you know the guy was murdered? Yeah. So we had a lot of personal experience there, and I think we caught some stuff, didn't we, Max Dustin? We caught a few things. But the most interesting thing we caught was a voice. We got an EVP, and it said a name, a word, something, and we couldn't really figure it out. It sounded Native American, actually. And so we're trying to figure out, like, what meaning this is, what tribe, what it came from. So I go back over there to the city hall after it was built, and there was a meeting there. And I go over there, and there's a plaque hanging on the wall. And it says the name of their city council chamber, and it was named after the police officer that was murdered there. Now, the voice that we got sounded like something like Neosho, Noshi, it's something like this. Well, when we go over there, the plaque that's on the wall, his name was August Nokia. And so it's really weird, really coincidental, because, was that what they were trying to say? I don't know. Is that how we got it on our audio recorder? I don't know, but it was pretty coincidental. And they do want us to come back, because they say water turns on by itself, toilets flush by themselves. They have a lot of things going on. They want us to come back. Now, I said a while ago I work at the sheriff's office, and we're in the old Express Star building now, which had started out years ago in Chickasha as a depot. So we are in this building now, but we were there, 4 or 5 times when it was the Express Star, because everyone that ever worked there, and it was the newspaper for years, probably 30 years or so, that at least, maybe more. And they know of one person that died in that building. For a fact, they know of one person. Well, they always talked about being pushed, lights turning off and on, all these things. Well, we go in and we investigate, and we have things happen, and most of them were, again, personal experience. They weren't caught on actual audio or video. But then we were reviewing evidence of one of the last times that we were there, and we actually caught a figure on the video. And like Sherry was saying, if you catch it on video, that's really the neat thing. And it was kind of like where Tony's standing over there in the doorway, this shadow figure just passes above the doorway. And so they were excited about it. The newspaper office was excited about it. They contact, I think, the Channel 5 News, and they come down and they do a story on it and show the video and say it's on here, because it was pretty cool. And that was something that not only is there strong personal experience there that still goes on to this day, but there was also something that we actually caught that we could actually document. There was an old 50s diner there in Chickasha, and that was one of the first times we actually got a voice on EVP. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first. And you can tell because I'm talking to the manager there, and we're in a room with the waterfall. They have a waterfall in there, and water, as you know, is it really helps things. And we're in there, and we capture a voice. Now, we didn't know it. We didn't hear it with our own ears. But when we reviewed evidence, we heard, "Get off." We don't know if it went off the property or if we were on it, but it said, "Get off." And one of the neatest things that happened there is Max and Derek was in the card room, and the card room is full of mirrors in there. And again, mirrors, water, all those things, those are really conducive. And so they were in there, and they hear footsteps right outside the door. They've got 2 audio recorders with brand new batteries. So they're excited about this because they hear footsteps. We had monitors in the hallway, so if anybody would have walked in there, you could have seen it. No one appeared on the video at all, but there was the audio of the footsteps, or that was with their own ears. And then when they reviewed the audio, both of them were completely dead, batteries were drained. So, you know, one of the things we always think, of course, is maybe it needed that energy from those batteries to be able to manifest, to walk up to the door like it did. And then, like I said, we go a lot of places. We went to Wynnewood, Oklahoma. There's no Eskridge Hotel there. And Scars was with us on that one. And we, again, this is kind of funny now that I'm talking about it. We take a break and we're standing outside, and there's a balcony, and we had the balcony doors open upstairs. And this voice actually says, "Are you here? Can you see me? I can see you." And it sounds like it's coming right off that balcony. Well, there was a police officer that he'd always come and talk to us when we were there in that town and doing investigations. And we all jump out, take off running. We go around the building, we go through the building, we go everywhere to see if we can find somebody that has said it. Nothing. I mean, there was no person that was there. So it was a disembodied voice that we heard. And then another one that we work a lot with Scars. We were at the old Plantation restaurant down in Medicine Park, Oklahoma, down by Lawton. And we got both personal and documented there. We had a voice, we had rocking chairs. Max got touched on the back of his neck, and if you look at our YouTube video, you see his reaction, you see him jerk around. And then Max and Dustin were by the totes there, and there was extra cables in the totes from our DVR systems. And while they're sitting there reviewing the monitors, the cables just dump out onto the floor out of that tote. The tote stayed, but it didn't turn over, but the cables just landed on the ground while they were there. And then Sherry was talking about sometimes you get good residual and the glass is clinking. Well, we went to the Elks Lodge and we were investigating there, and we were there, and you can hear, you can actually listen, and it sounds like a party there on a Friday night or Saturday night. You can hear the glasses, you can hear laughter, you can hear music. I mean, all this stuff that you can hear. But one of the most interesting things that ever happened there is Elisa, who's my daughter, Max's sister, she's on the team, and it was her and I and the office manager there, or the manager, we were in the office, and they had gotten so used to the ghost there that the manager would just talk. "Oh, I'm sorry, do you not like that? Here, I'll move this." And she would talk to them. And we're in the office, and back here, there was like a 3-wire basket that was sitting back here. It had stuff on it. Only the stuff on the top shelf, on the very top of that basket, comes off and goes across the room at us while we're sitting there. And it was kind of funny because Elisa screams, and the office manager's like, "Oh, you must not like it there." I said, no, you don't move that just because they throw that, put it back. And then we walked around trying to debunk it, trying to see if there was anything, hit the wall, trying to see if there was any reason that it would come off the wall, and we couldn't find any. So, I mean, I have a lot of places I can talk about, a lot of places that we've went to and things like that have happened. And we brought our cards, and we can tell you our YouTube address, our Facebook. One of the other things that I think none of us have touched on, though, we went to a couple of places, and I'm sure you guys have all been there, but a couple of places where you pull up, and it is just like out of a movie, okay? We went to this one place in particular, and we're trying to find it. I mean, it is out in the middle of nowhere, and it's a town that's, a couple hours away from where we were at. And we get there, and we pull down this long driveway, and we pull up, and there's this house standing there, and it's not by anything. And I think it was Max goes, you know,
We turned into the drive.
as soon as we turn, yeah, we turn in the driveway, and you see this, and Max goes, you know, maybe we ought to tell everybody where we're at, just in case. And we all look at our phones, no signal. So there's also a dangerous side to the paranormal, to ghost hunting. It's fun, but there is a dangerous side. I mean, not just that where you go there and there's no signal and you can't tell somebody where you're at, but then there's also, if we go into a lot of old buildings, we go into a lot of old places, and there's asbestos and there's all these other things. So there's dangers that are involved in it, but you have to love what you're doing to go take part in it and go do it, because I mean we do love it. And I'll tell you another place. We went to Stone Lion Inn and stayed the night there one night, and we were down in, it was the basement part, and Sherry was talking about a while ago about the smells that you can get, and all of a sudden there's this very strong smell of cigar smoke. And then, have you ever felt that, like the spider web type when you're investigating? Almost, that's not the way to try to describe it, but like the ectoplasmic type feel. We felt that, smelled the cigarette smoke, had the sounds from TV, radio. There was nothing there that was going. I mean, there was absolutely nothing. And but we've been to lots of different places, and like I said, sometimes we don't get anything. We went to the Masons Lodge, and we're told, oh, all this stuff happens, and I'm not doubting that it does, but we went and it was truly absolutely dead. There was nothing there, so we didn't get anything there. So there's a lot of places that we've gotten things, a lot of places that we've got both the personal experience and we've been able to document it. We went to Alba, to Cherokee Strip Museum, and that's on, like almost every list, that's on the list of most haunted places. We've been there a couple of times. And we went there, and Max and I were upstairs. Most of the time, Max and I do not investigate together. We were there together, but he's with somebody and I'm with somebody because we both have been a part of this team from the start. So he'll go with somebody, I'll go with somebody. That night, we only had 3 people. This is a huge place. And so Max and I are standing up there, and we'd been getting a lot of good things, a lot of K2 hits, a lot of things going on. And I do my little spiel, which if we're not there to try to remove something, then I will say, we're not here to harm you in any way. We don't want to hurt you. We just want to make contact with you. We just want to talk to you. And Max says, which nobody had ever done, do you believe her? And I look at him because I'm thinking, he asked that. And we get this voice. And it was like, no. I mean, and it sounded like it just came from every hallway in all directions at us. And again, we're like, we hope we caught that. When Max plays it back, it did not sound like what we heard with our ears. It sounded almost digitized. Like it wasn't a voice. It was very weird. And then, we went to this old hospital down in Arkansas. And a lot of personal experience there, but we did get documentation as well. That was one of the weirdest places, the most extreme things that we have seen and heard happened right there at that place. So the last investigation that we had last weekend, we go to a personal residence, and I always like hearing stuff after we've been there for a while. And they tell us that this house had once been a part of the Fort Sill Army Barracks. And they had moved this house there. And so we're there at this house, and like, Jason said, sometimes when you hear a voice, even if it's not that mean, no, or get off, it can still be an evil spirit. And we heard a little girl, we heard it with our ears, we got it on audio. Mommy, just clear as a bell. And it says that. Now, there's no little children in that house. It's a elderly lady that has that house, and her daughter and son-in-law are worried about her because she keeps hearing and seeing things. And on every wall, above every door, they've got crucifixes, they've got rosaries, they've got prayer cards, they've had the house blessed, they're doing everything, and she's scared to death to stay there. And so we're going to go back out there and spend the night at that house. That's, if you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I could talk about a few more places, but I mean, that I've hit, I think, on the high points. Fort Chaffee, is anybody familiar with that? I think Ghost Hunters went there, yeah.
No, I've never been there.
Who went there? Ghost Adventurers, sorry. They went there, and we got to go there twice before it was torn down. And that was a place that we've got a lot of stuff, and we have it on both audio, and we had a lot of personal experience with that, and we have that on our YouTube channel as well. But there was a lot of things that went on there. We have a member of our group, and he's a cameraman, and he actually freaked out. There was one in the place that, was it where they had housed the...
It was, they called it the exorcism building.
Yeah, the exorcism building. And they had, but it was...
Haitians and Cubans.
Had what?
Haitians and Cubans.
Yeah, Haitians and Cubans. And they would perform rituals in there and kind of freaked everybody else out. And they would do things, and it's all on there. But like I said, Kyle has Vintage Image Films, and he is our documenter, and he actually freaked out in that room. He felt like it was closing in on him and something was coming at him. And we wanted to get him out of there because the way it's laid out, the back is open here, and then over here the floor is not safe, and then here's a stairway. So you're pretty much right here. And you go any other way and you're going to probably fall and get hurt very badly. And so we got him out of there and got him outside, and then he was okay. So, but that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about, was personal experience versus documentation, because we don't put personal experience out on our Facebook or on our YouTube just because that's something we can't prove, but we feel. And I think everybody's probably felt things that they can't explain, or have seen something they can't explain. You don't absolutely have proof of it, but you know that it happened. So, anybody have any questions for me or for our group?
Do you ever explore cemeteries?
Not really. It's kind of something we just don't do. We just really don't do cemeteries. We've been asked, and we've been to 2. We just really don't like cemeteries. Not that we're afraid of them, but we don't want to disrespect anybody that might get upset that we're there. So we do personal residences, we do businesses, any place pretty much that we're asked. I think Dustin was talking about earlier, not to you guys, but when we were just talking about somebody that was wanting to be a part of his group, and he was like, hey, we're going to go break into this place. We don't break into any place. We have permission to go anywhere. And like Sherry said, there are lists that we have, you fill out. We have our paperwork that we carry with us, and we document, and we get signed permission, and I mean, we just don't do anything that is illegal.
Absolutely no trespassing.
Yeah. No trespassing. Yes, sir?
You said you've done 2 cemeteries. What were your results, if you don't mind sharing?
The one, and that was, you noticed a while ago when I was talking about the city of Tuttle, and I named 3 places, and I said in another place, one of them was an old cemetery. It's one they don't use anymore. I don't know if there's any ancestors, because this is a very old cemetery. A town that doesn't exist anymore that Tuttle's kind of incorporated, which is Silver City. And we actually got some good stuff there, didn't we, guys? Because Dustin and them was with us too. Yeah, a lot of EMF, and so. And then the other one, huh?
If you get any EMF hits out in the middle of a big field, it shouldn't be there.
Yeah, you shouldn't get EMF hits out in the middle of a big open, area. And then we did another one over by Duncan, Max. And we got a few things there. So, there is stuff, I'm sure that's there, but it's not something that we want to go to and, like I said, upset anybody and disrespect anybody that doesn't want us there. Anything else? All right, thank you guys for having us. We enjoyed it.
I just want to say, I ain't being rude by texting. Our audio ain't working, so you guys are going to be the only one probably seeing any of this. So, yeah, good luck. Dustin, other than that, I think the router is blocking the port that allows the communications to go through.
What is?
Possibly the router is blocking our voice port that maybe that's supposed to use. So that's probably why.
The only audio that we've got is going through that iPad.
Is it coming through on your page? Okay. Well, probably
There
not.
we go. You might hit the
Could be
right
that page.
Mhm.
Could be that page.
It's possible.
Alrighty. Well, for those of you who don't know who I am Dustin Walls. I'm with the Steelers County Apparition Research Society. Just kind of a little bit about us. Basically, I'm going to go over today. Get that thing going.
Work.
Well, of course, it's going to do that.
Not the only one.
Yeah, I'll get it in just a second.
I like your photo.
Oh, that's our
Well, that
background
one
for.
No, she was talking about the evil-looking woman there.
That's our website page right there. Try this again. No, I'm not going to order you today. All right, we're back in here.
Maybe.
Sort of.
There we are. Okay.
People that work with electronics were not very chip savvy.
I'm just working for the internet, that's all.
All right. Well, basically, I'm going to go over setting up an investigation. The reason why I picked this subject is because whenever we started out, we had no clue what we were doing, and I actually talked myself out of several investigations. So hopefully, I can give you guys a good guideline and help you on the long run if any of you guys decide to go and start investigating in the long run. Basically, here's my group here, group picture. We are all related. That's what makes us kind of, I guess, unique compared to most groups. My mom, my dad, my sister, cousins, you know, you name it, we got it in there. Basically, we're from Duncan, Oklahoma. We were established in 2009, so we've been investigating a little while. And like I said, our group's comprised mostly of family members, so kind of go through that. All right, well, basically, from the start, there's basically going to be 6 different steps to an investigation. It all starts basically with the phone call, which is what's going to be coming up next. You're going to get a phone call. Either you're going to be calling somebody to get permission to go in the place, or somebody's going to be calling you. The people that's calling you, it's kind of important to be very professional, so I'm going to go over that here shortly. But we're going to go over the phone call, the interview, the group and equipment selection. We're also going to go over the investigation process itself, as well as evidence review and the presentation to the clients, or the reveal, whatever you call it. Alrighty, so basically step 1, we got the phone call. You're going to get called, on this you want to keep a couple good rules of thumb to remember on this. You always be professional, 100%. Use proper English, don't cuss. I mean, be very professional. The reason being is because this is going to affect basically every group up here. If you guys look bad, then it's going to make all of us look bad. So it's kind of a big deal. I teach you right, it makes us all look good in the long run. You also want to listen to everything that the client's telling you. They may be telling you, you know, I don't know, so all these, you know, things are flying across the rooms, you know, lights are coming on. Well, all these things you think in your head, you start thinking about what could possibly be causing that. The lights are coming on their own. Maybe they got an old light switch in there that hangs up. You walk out of the room, a door shuts right and makes that light come on. Doors coming open. Maybe you step on the right board. It's an older house, makes that door come open. You got to listen, write down everything that you got, and ask plenty of questions in this process. There 3 things you kind of want to keep set up during the telephone interview, which is the phone call, is you want to be sure you set up a good time to set up the interview, which is normally within 2 to 3 days is what I try to do. Basically, one thing I want to add to this is everything that I'm going to tell you here today is just a guideline that my group goes by. So take it and run with it, change it, do whatever you want to. I recommend them using what's called a haunting journal or a spook journal. The reason being is because if everything's happening every night at 10 o'clock, well then it's going to help you kind of figure out what type of haunting you have. It's the same thing every night. Odds are it's probably residual haunting. It's happening all throughout the night, different types of answers, different things happening. Maybe it's an intelligent haunting. And you also want to answer any questions they have for you. How many people you're going to bring in your group? What type of equipment you're going to use? How many people can be at the house? That's another big one. We prefer to have smaller groups in there if it's at a client's house because less likely to have contamination. Now, if you're going to a place where you got to pay to get in, it's going to be relatively large. Bring your whole group. Everybody go have fun. It's kind of the difference between an investigation and a hunt. Is an investigation is you're trying to investigate the claims of the paranormal. So you're trying to see if it's really happening. Where a hunt, you're going into a place that you're pretty sure is haunted, so you're going to go hunt for some ghosts. Alrighty. Now we're going to get into the interview itself, and yet again, like I said, be professional when you do this. We generally will take 2 people with us. One guy's going to be running your voice recorder. You always want to document the voice recorder whenever you open it up. Tag what the date is, what you're doing in the process, which would be like the interview. For instance, we're at a house on Main Street doing the interview process at approximately 7 o'clock in the afternoon. We also like to kind of throw in weather conditions. The reason being is if it's, say, pouring rain outside, a lot of times we've found, my group anyway, it's a lot more active. During rain, thunderstorms, stuff like that, it kind of positively charges the atmosphere. Tend to get a little bit more evidence. Some groups don't believe that way, some do, but like I said, it's kind of my group's personal opinion. Record the entire interview. Every question you ask, it's that way you can it gives you like a guideline for your crew as you're in there. As you're starting to have a team meeting, kind of figure out where you're going. And also take pictures of the location of where the claims are at. It kind of helps you decide where you're going to set your cameras at. And you want to check their haunt journal as well. Kind of go over with them, try to disprove anything that's inside there, like the doors coming open, lights coming on, voices, stuff like that, etc. And then check out, like I said, check out all options for all activity. That's try to disprove every claim right then, so that way when you're coming in, your other crew's going to come in fresh. So at this point, basically what we've done is, say me and Tony here, which is sitting over here, we went in and we've done the interview. We're going in, we're taking all the pictures and everything. Well, now we're having the team meeting. We have Shelby and Valerie there with us. So now we're going to go over and tell them everything, every one of the claims, without telling them exactly too much. So that way, if they have any personal experiences, it kind of adds to it, the validity of the claims of the client. Okay, now here's where we're going to start talking about your group and equipment selection. Basically, with the group and equipment selection, we have a pretty big size group. 10 to 12 people, which is relatively large. So we go by experience. So say a lot of the claims are of a demonic nature, lots of scratches, burning, bad stuff going on. We're generally going to take our more experienced guys. It'd be me, Tony, Sonny. It's going to be a small group, generally. Due to just the fact of what you're going to be experiencing, you want to make sure that everybody's ready for each task that they're going to come in contact with. You also want to kind of know who the activity revolves around. So, say the father in the house, nothing's happening in there. The mother, nothing's happening to, but the teenage girl is happening to. Well, it just so happens in my group, I have an 18-year-old girl in my group. So I'm going to bring her along and I'm going to lock her in that room where that activity's happening. You want to make the stuff happen, you know what I mean? You want to get the situation set up as close to what's happening in the house, so that way you can make the claims, disprove and prove the claims. And if the place is large or small, it's how you want to determine how big of a group you're going to have. If you've got a small house that's about the size of this room, you're only going to want to take 3 people, 3 to 4. That's gonna let somebody run your DVR, and you have a group of 2 to go in and do EVP sessions, run your sensors, so forth. Alrighty. Now, we're gonna get into the investigation. I'm gonna go a little bit lengthy into this, a couple slides into here, just because there's a lot to it, and if you handle yourself right, you'll get the best evidence, and you'll look the best and be called back later on by other people. First thing, before you go up to the door, you want to introduce yourself and your team. So you go up, you knock on the door, hey, it's Dustin, we're here to do your investigation tonight. All right, this is, Shannon, so on and so forth, whoever you got in your group. From that point on, you want to do the walkthrough with your entire team, kind of walk them through, show them the hot spots. Don't exactly tell them the exact claims. Like I said, the reason being is because if that exact claim happens to them, then it adds the validity to the client, Then we're going to do the setup. Now setup, that right there is going to make or break you on an investigation. If you can get it done in 20 minutes, it's the best, but a lot of times it takes you an hour. My group, we've kind of established everybody knows what they're going to do when they pull up. So, you're going to go grab the cables, you're going to go start running the cables. You're going to grab the cameras, you're going to start running the cameras. And it cuts back on it to where you get more investigation time in. After that, you want to go ahead and go into the investigation with, I'm going to show you some tactics on that as well, and then the breakdown. Okay, so as far as the investigation setup goes, your biggest setup is going to be your DVR system. It's going to take you the longest, so that's what you want to jump right into. So basically, we'll have a guy, Tony's generally our guy for that because he's our best camera angle. We'll have him go through and just set all the cameras. We have an 8-channel CS system, so they're going to be just going through there, setting the right angles, getting everything ready to go. Then our next person is going to run in and just run the cables. We're going to hook the cables to the camera and walk back to the DVR. And then we'll have another person standing there that's just plugging the DVR in. This right here, the faster you get this set up, the quicker you're investigating, the quicker you're catching evidence. Now, after you get the DVR set up, you go ahead and do a little kind of meeting and everything. Have another person go through and do the EMF scan. The reason why you want to do an EMF scan is because if you have high EMF fields all in these rooms, a lot of the times it's going to create what's called a fear cage, depending on how sensitive you are to it, which will make you feel like you're being watched, hear things, feel things, get sick, all kinds of other things like that. I mean, that's kind of why you want to do the EMF sweeps, so that we kind of help disprove any claims that you have if you have high EMF. And then we also, my group sets stationary recorders. We don't generally keep them honest too much, and the reason being is so we get more audio for your buck. So we'll say we have a small room house, we'll have 3 hottest rooms, we'll set a permanent recorder in there. It's going to be a stationary recorder. You're going to want to set up on the timestamp, what room it's in, who set it, the date, weather conditions, so on and so forth. The reason being is that when you put those stationary recorders out there, is it will, if say we're taking a break and you hear somebody in there, all kinds of racket going on, people talking, nobody was in there. So, that's a good piece of evidence. That's also why you take breaks, kind of give it a break here. Okay, now, the types of evidence you're going to grab are going to be like your personal experience. We do document these just because of the fact that, say the client is claiming that every night she's getting her shirt grabbed, ripped around, all this stuff. Well, now we got Shelby going through the living room there, and she gets her shirt grabbed, pulled all over the place, thrown all over. Well, we just validated one of her claims, so that's why we want to make sure we document every personal experience. And then you kind of some other parts to it is you're going to have some EVP sessions. We do 2 or 3 different types. We'll have a group EVP session. We'll have 2 or 3 people in there, one person asking questions. Give yourself 15 to 20 seconds in between each question. Say, who are you? What's your how old are you? Give it a good break, enough time where you can ask the questions. And then also re-ask the questions several times, because if you ask who you are and they answer you the first time, they say, my name's Robert. Okay, then you go through about 10 more questions. Then you have to come back with, who are you? And it comes back with Robert. That's a pretty good EVP. That's a pretty solid piece of evidence. So with that, always double up on your questions. That's kind of what I'm trying to get to on We also like to do what's called a silent time, which we will spread out our 3 people through the room, through the entire building. We'll put them, guy in the kitchen, guy in the living room, bedroom, so on and so forth. And you just sit there and you be quiet. You hear different sounds, you know, you document where you heard it at, everybody, call it out. Call it out with a good voice. Also, when you're doing your EVP sessions, try not to whisper. Talk like you're talking to me, talking just like we're talking normally. The reason being is because it can contaminate your evidence, and that's just not what you want. So, and then as far as using your sensors, you know, your K2, your milligauss, any other awesome ones that are out there, you want to, if you have it going off quite a bit, try to have a handheld camera so that you can record it actually going off. Keep it far enough away or it won't interfere. Some of those things will, cell phones, stuff like that will interfere with K2s and stuff. So, but you get that on evidence. I mean, you get that on video. It works as evidence because you can show, hey, we were asking questions and the K2 is going off every time we were, you know, asking these questions. So we're getting definite answers. You're also going to have your video, which we have several different cameras, handhelds. You got 8-channel, which you can see right there. We try to keep somebody on the DVR at all times watching. It's hard to watch 8 cameras at once, but it makes it a little bit easier whenever you're going over evidence review. Because if you have 8 cameras that just ran for 8 hours, you got a lot of hours of video to watch with no audio. It's really boring. So you want to definitely kind of keep a good log of what you saw here, what you saw there. All right. Now we're going to go into evidence review a little bit here. This might actually be the most important part of your investigation. It's because all the work that you put into this point, this is what you work for, is this evidence here. So you want to take it pretty seriously. It's going to generally, after you finish an investigation, you want to try to complete it within 2 weeks. The reason being is that way you're not pushing your clients out real far. If you get behind by a day, you can be behind by 2 months in no time as far as investigation goes. And we generally try to do it with 3 to 4 members. Of course, it's not going to happen because everybody's schedules don't work that way. But normally, we try to do it about a week after. So, like I said, a good guideline. Just try to stick to it. Alrighty. Okay, now some different types of evidence you're going to go over are EVP. Now, for those of you who don't know what that stands for, it stands for electronic voice phenomenon. Basically, you get a lot of that with your voice recorders. We also use what's called an FM transmitter. You can drop it in the house and listen to it with your headphones, so you can actually do real-time EVP with it. What's kind of neat about this is you can drop it in the middle of the house and you can hear it every room of the house, what's going on everywhere. So I'll kind of show that off to you guys if you guys want to come up afterwards. Show some equipment to you. And one thing that's big about EVP is this is going to be your most common piece of evidence you're going to find. So when you're going over it, you want to go over it pretty well. That's why I say 3 to 4 people. We will generally have people in our each recorder will go through 3 to 4 people, and you keep a little log right there. So say you hear at 11:08 on recorder number 1, you know, Casper came out and said, hey, what's up, guys? I want to party. All right, well, all 3 of us just heard that. Okay, we got it all wrote down in there. That makes it a good, solid piece of evidence. So, and then we also will go through and show what we heard in case anybody missed it as well. So, before the evidence actually gets back to the client, we've actually been through it 3, 4, sometimes 5 times. Because we also, another thing with our group is we have family dinner every Sunday after an investigation. So the whole group comes over, we eat, we go over evidence. You know, it's a good thing to be real close with your group, because if you don't trust them, then you can't trust what evidence they're giving you. So that's kind of another positive to it. All right, your next one's going to be video, which is not. It's like a diamond in the rough as far as getting evidence out of. You don't get it just a whole lot. Good evidence to actually get that you're going to want to show off is like dark masses moving, which means it looks like a room kind of dark like this, and you can just see a black mass just kind of walking around, looks like a shadow. There's also moving objects. So say you got a camera looking out here across this room here, and you see this chair over here just fly across the room. Well, there's nobody in there, so that's an awesome piece of evidence as well. Full body apparitions are some other good ones, which that's one you're very rarely going to find, as well as mist. The mist, it's hard to explain unless you've seen it. It just kind of looks like fog inside a house. It could be just moisture. You don't know what it is, basically. Some things that I wouldn't post if I had video evidence is, like Jason said, orbs. The reason being is they're too confrontational. I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Controversial?
Yeah, but not everybody can agree on them. So with that being said, if somebody can disapprove it, don't even try, because it's not going to do you any good. You're just going to be arguing with a wall. That's kind of the way that I've learned to handle it. And you also have passing lights going through there. Most people's going to say that's going to be either a flashlight, a car driving by, headlights showing. So we kind of stay away from that type of evidence to show, just due to the fact that it kind of hurts your reputation, I guess, in the long run, if that makes any sense. Okay, now we're going to go into client presentation. This right here it'll help you determine whether or not you need to go back into a place to investigate, or you can help people get back at ease. You kind of, yet again, I can't stress this enough whenever I go over this, be professional. Be professional. And you want to explain your evidence very thoroughly. Say you have a good piece of audio, you know, like she said, saying, you know, mommy. Well, you want to explain, you know, where this happened at, what time it happened. Go in deep, very, very graphic detail as far as your evidence goes. You also don't want to kind of sway your client into believing their house is haunted or not. You want to show them the evidence and let them come up to their own conclusion. You know, if I kind of before I was really, you know, kind of getting experience into it, all you want to do is sit there and prove a place is haunted. You know, you're first starting, that's, oh my gosh, we got all this awesome evidence. Then you start coming along farther and farther into it, and you realize it's not really all about how much evidence you get, it's how many people you have. The only way you can truly help somebody is by just pointing them in the right direction, let them gather their own conclusion. They get their own conclusion from it, say they believe their house is extremely haunted, well then advise from there. You can advise, you know, basically the easiest way I can put this, the way that I advise to my clients is, you've got a bad roommate living in your house. You need to take your house back. If your roommate's eating your potato chips and it's driving you nuts, you go over there and you tell them to stop eating your potato chips. Well, it's the same situation with the investigation, with a haunting. You got a bad roommate in there. You got to take your house back. You know, you got to now don't go crazy, but you want to go in and tell them it's not okay what they're doing. Now, if it goes past that, you need more help. Preachers, clergy, you know, stuff like that, cleansing. That's where you advise on that. That's where actually the next slide comes in, is paranormal unity. The reason this is very important when you're investigating is because, say, I can't get to a case, or I have a case that's just driving me crazy, I can't quite figure it out. Well, I'm going to get a different point of view. Right here, I can have 4 different points of view in a matter of a minute. It also gives you more investigation opportunities. So, say we want to load up, like you know, we want to load up and go investigate in some places we can't get to. Well, they've got me in several places I can't get to. Lisa and Max has. So it's good to get. They're like tools that you can use. So, say Sherry here's a priest, you know, for the Catholic Church. Well, you know what? We got a demon inside this house. We need to get us a priest inside. Here we go. We got us a priest right there with this group. Say Jason is a video specialist, and I have all this video stuff going on. Well, I can call him up, send this to him, get his opinion on it. Paranormal unity is very important, regardless of what anybody tells you. It's also good for education, for a purpose like what we're doing right here. All I'm here to do is just to help you guys become investigators like us. Someday you could be up here with us, you know what I mean? And without paranormal unity, we'll never be able to prove that the paranormal exists. You're just fighting an uphill battle unless you got members on your team. So with that being said, paranormal unity, I'm all about it. All right, well, this is basically kind of the end for me here. This is my contact information. If any of you want to get a hold of me, ask me any questions. My name's Dustin Walls. There's my phone number. There's an email address to get to me. Here's also our website. You guys can check us out there. And anybody have any questions or anything?
What are your favorite questions that you use when you do an EVP session?
I like to basically find, I like to ask what's your name a lot, your age. We also like spelling out a name, which is kind of a little bit different. We'll go through the entire alphabet, and yeah, you gotta go through it about 10 times, but you say, give me the first letter in your alphabet, or your first letter in your name. I'm gonna go through the alphabet. You say A, B, C, and you get a hit on your K2, you know, stop there. You go out there and you can spell an entire name doing that, and then you go back through it again. Go through and ask you some more questions, you know, as far as, you know, when did you die? What year is it? Is there anybody here with you? Do you like us here? Do you want us to leave? You know, basically, just try to get a feel for it. You almost want to be able to tell a story with your EVPs by the time, you know, you go to present it to your client. So you want to ask, like, I guess that's the easiest way to explain it. You want to be able to tell a story with your EVPs. So ask your questions in like a story type order. Is there any other questions?
What do you do about research?
About research?
Yeah.
We actually had I had a guy that was a historian for me that moved off to Alabama. But basically, we start off at the courthouse, find out who owned the house in the previous years, newspaper articles. You know, go to the library and find newspaper articles. And also, let's say courthouse, read newspapers, Google's another big one. That's kind of the ones that I personally know how to use. Now, my historian, he could go off and find me stuff that I couldn't believe. But as far as the research goes, that's where I would start as the courthouse. Find out the owner, the order of owners, and find out if you can get a name with anybody. And then if, say, you get the name spelled out, say Carl Atwood owned the house back in the 40s, well, whenever you're going to spell the name and Carl gets spelled out, it kind of coincides with it. So that's kind of, I guess I answered your question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Can I ask something real quick? Whenever you're going over your EVPs, if I'm listening to something and I catch what it says, I'm not going to hand it to Valerie and say, hey, this is what this says. What do you think? I'm going to say, hey, I hear something. What do you think it says? Because if I tell her what I think it says, of course she's going to hear that. And you don't want them to like already have it already be created in their brain. You want to hear and see what they get from them. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like if you watch any of the shows on TV, first thing they do, they play it out and then they tell you what they think it says instead of letting you figure out what you think it says. And then you kind of convert it back and forth and come to a conclusion.
You don't want to cloud someone else's judgment.
Everything in this, you always want to come to your own conclusion. That's the best advice I can give anybody is always come to your own conclusion. And as long as you believe in it, that's all that matters in the long run. So
I want to add something to that right there. Whenever we go and investigate, my team anyways, when we go and investigate, for example, respectfully, a cemetery or an abandoned nursing home or hospital, we do take into consideration other paranormal teams' experiences or people, eyewitnesses, their experiences, their testimonies, but we kind of have to listen to them with a deaf ear because we want to run our own tests, we want to find our own theory, have our own theories, and just like she had said, we don't necessarily want our opinion to be tainted or our expectations to be set too high because another paranormal team had experienced this there. So, yeah, it's like my husband, who's my vice president of my team. He, when we go into a residential investigation, he actually prefers not to be told about the experiences inside the home. He will walk away. He will go and run cables. He'll run and go do EMF checks, throughout the house, or he'll simply just step outside. He does not want to know about the experiences. He wants to experience everything on his own without
experience firsthand.
Yes, firsthand. Yeah.
Elaborate on that too. We
kind of go about the same way. We'll, go in and we'll show the hot spots, and we won't tell what's going on. We'll go do some investigation, and we'll, on one of our breaks, then we'll go on and say, okay, this is what we need to look for. So we've actually went in there blind at first, and did an investigation blindly, and then, well, except for the one that did the interviews. But we'll actually go in there blind at first, and then come back out and go back in with some knowledge behind it.
So you don't want any preconceived notions about what's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, we do, I do to an extent. I want to know history, I want to know past experiences, just so I can run my own tests, you know, and get my own results.
Well, to know where to put your equipment, you have
Yes.
to know something.
You have to know where previous hotspots are. So, let's say the basement in the nursing home, you know, was a hotspot for several different teams. Okay, well, that knowledge allows me to put my equipment, some of my equipment down there. So that way I can try to capture the same type of evidence that they have in the past. But if we go into a location that previous people have said, oh, I always get touched in here, you know, or my hair always gets pulled in here, or I get shoved, so-and-so always gets scratched. You know, we have to consider that kind of like urban legend, you know, for folklore, you know. We trust you that you experienced that, but we have to just kind of leave it where you said it, you know. We can't go in expecting to be scratched. We can't go in expecting for our hair to get pulled or to be shoved. We hope. Not all of us, but some of us ask for it, but you know, we can't go in expecting another team's experience is going to be the same as ours. We tried, but
well, it's kind of like what we were talking about a while ago too. You can go into a place and you might not get anything, and they're telling you this is going on, and then you go back the second time, you still may not get anything, but then you may go back and it may be the best place as far as what evidence that you're getting that you've ever been to. It, you know, you can't make them do anything.
And we have like recorders at locations overnight.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times once you've done an investigation, the activity will actually pick up. And so we'll leave the recorders running all night in the location and go back and get them in the morning to see if, you know, they came out after them.
yes, which I had actually at a location, a rainstorm, thunderstorm came through that night. I wasn't aware that there was a storm coming, but it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. You can hear the thunder and the rain hitting the roof and thundering in the air and stuff. And one of my best pieces of evidence, but it's not very clear. You have to really be listening to it, or I would have brought it. But you hear a female humming in the rain, and just like you were saying that the electricity in the air from a storm, I mean that puts off energy for spirits to appear or to speak, to, you know, be acknowledged. So I mean, leaving equipment at a place, I mean, I think that was a really good idea. But like what Lisa was saying, just because we turn on our cameras and turn on our recorders, my favorite saying is, just because I say action doesn't mean that the ghosts are going to say perform. Okay, here I am. You know, spirit hand. So, or, you know, it does take several times. It takes a lot of patience in this field. It takes a lot of patience. And for, you know, if you want immediate results without doing much work, then that's, you know, stick to watching the ghost shows on TV.
It's a lot of hurry up and wait, isn't it?
It is.
A lot of
You
disappointment.
gotta look at it like this. We run 3 recorders. We do typically 4 hours. How much evidence is on here?
12
I gotta go
hours.
through 12 hours. How much is here?
Yeah.
4 hours.
4 hours? 8 cameras?
32 hours.
There you go.
And that 12 hours of audio can take up to like 18 hours to review.
Exactly.
And you have to take a break when you need a break, because when your eyes start doing this, you have to walk away because you could miss something.
You
And
need
I
that
work
vision.
full-time. He works full-time.
Yeah.
I work full-time, she goes to school full-time.
I think.
That's, after
You need to
investigation.
sleep.
Exactly.
Weekends.
And if you get 2 investigations in a month, now how much video and stuff you gotta go over.
And it has to be
Well,
quiet, I mean, you can't have your children around. I mean,
Yeah,
it has
sometimes
to be
to
very
a
quiet.
weekend, then you're really.
And Jason with Ghost Science, he actually made a video not too long ago about how he had actually downsized his equipment. Because when he was running Bartlesville, he had created and ran Bartlesville Paranormal Investigators for several years, and he had a lot of equipment, a lot of cameras and digital recorders and stuff. And in that video, he had stated that it was just too much time. It was taking up too much time to review all of that. You know, how many cameras was your DVR?
It was 4 cameras and plus my handy cam, and then all of them. I think I had 2 or 3 voice recorders at the time. It was just, and you know, I kind of made it where every person on the team had their own equipment. But if I had the biggest cache equipment, I'd have to. I couldn't get anybody to go through my stuff.
Well,
It was
we
fun.
traded off.
Me and you, well, when you were still on there.
Well, now
We
we
lost
traded
Jeremy
off.
a few times. He's good.
I got more stuff and he got less stuff.
Yeah, so, you know, and it's one of those things where you do want to pace yourself. You don't want to have everything and have to go through it all. And if you do, you want to have a system in place where everybody helps with your evidence. I myself, I go through all my stuff myself unless I can get Jeremy to do it for me, which he's really good. And he doesn't have kids. He doesn't have a wife, so so anyway, but he you know, he has more time than me. I got 3 kids, and one of the biggest reasons I gave up Bartlesville Paranormal was because we had our son about a year ago. So, well, he's about 2 now. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. But you know, it's kind of it is kind of nerve-wracking. She's my wife. I don't know. how
It's
old
back
my kids-
there.
Yeah, I don't know how old my kids are. Well, here's my 11-year-old right here. He's
2
cool.
and 2 max.
He's on my group sometimes.
3.
2. He'll be 2 in January.
Well, who's 3?
My daughter.
That's what I thought she said she was 2. I was like, no, she's 3.
He said we had our son like a year ago. I said no.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, I forget what I do. That's bad. But you know, it's just there's a lot to this, and you know, a lot of it can affect you. So, are you done?
I'm completely finished.
Cool. I'll get up done.
Already.
Oh, my back is killing me. But yeah, there is a lot to this, and I've posted a couple videos, and not all y'all on Facebook, so it's cool. But I've been doing a lot into the demonology side of this, and it's interesting, but it can affect you, and that's something I was realizing when I first took on the task of looking through this, because if you're a paranormal group and you're not willing to go through and learn all the aspects of it, I mean, what's the point in doing this? It's a part of it. It's learning. Just like if you were, you know, you'd learn CPR, you'd have to go back every couple of years and learn something new on it. And if you don't, you're going to lose it. You're going to get stagnant. It's just not going to be fun. Demonology, I would not suggest that if you're very impressionable, don't do it. If you have any problems with you know, some of this, the reason being, a demon can start working on you if you're not prepared. And the thing is that it didn't affect me because I had something trying to attack me, but it affected me because I was learning about stuff that I had never learned about before. It's not just demons, and this will bother some people. If you just look at the Bible for your demons, there's so much more out there than what people are understanding. And that's the thing that kind of affected me. And it was a good idea to start going through this stuff, but at the same time, I had to stop after about 3 weeks straight of just reading and watching documentaries and doing how I do it. I had to take a break because it was just like, I mean, it totally felt like it was gonna change me if I kept going. And it's hard to do, and people look at it and go, well, you're just reading stuff, but you're reading stuff that's totally changing your mind, totally trying to change your soul, it's trying to make another person. And you know, people have got to understand, you know, if you look into any of this stuff, no matter what you're doing out there in the field, no matter what you're trying to learn, it will affect you, and it will change you. I'm different from when I was starting, you know, that group 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, however long it's been. I'm different now, I would say. But I've learned a lot. I've gone through, you know, I've studied, you know, ghost hunting from other ghost hunters, and I don't study off of like the Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, but I'll study off people that's been doing this for years, and you know, that have put papers out of what they felt and how they believe in this field. And you know, I'm sure there's college courses I can do, but I'm not the smartest guy in the world, so I don't want to go to college. But unless it's for computer stuff, that would be fun. But you know, I try to with ghost science, I want to be able to give people more information than anything else. I'm not the kind that actually has an investigation every weekend now. It's because I got a family and I can't do it. But we do try to get out there. But I like to give people information. I like to try to know as much as I can. And it's true. I don't know everything. And if I tell you something and you got something else and you tell me about it, I'll look into that too, because it's one of those things that you can never be 100% right until we've got something proven. But you know, one of the things I also want to talk about is I take my son every once in a while out with me. He's 11 years old. He's been every once in a while he'll go out with me on these kind of, you know, fun investigations with me, just to try to help him. He was scared of the dark, and I think you still are, aren't you? He's not like he used to be. He wouldn't go down the hallway, and we live in a brand new apartment. He wouldn't go down the hallway. He wouldn't want his light off in his room. He just was having problems, like what I did when I was a kid. And you know, it's kind of helped him get used to it. I mean, it's hard to tell a kid that, you know, there's no such thing as ghosts when you do this. So it kind of, there was a point where I had to say, you know, you want to come with me? And he wanted to, but then when we got out there, he was scared. And it is one of those things, though, that you want to make sure that you're protected and your kid's protected when you do this. And I'm one of those people, I don't think that it's something that should be looked at as bad, but you know, there's a lot of people out there that say you shouldn't take your kids out. I do believe that. When my son hits 13 years old or 14 years old and he starts becoming a teenager, he probably won't be going out with me for a little bit because hormones and changes in his mind and stuff that would make him more susceptible to having an attachment. But you know, being in this, I've got a lot of friends that do know how to do blessings and do know how to help, you know, get attachments away. So I feel a little bit more protected, a little bit more confident about taking him with me. But if you don't know what you're doing, you don't have those people around, then don't try. But you know, I think we. Oh, I thought you want to say something. But anybody have any questions about any of that, or anything at all? I'm out of pop. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. Has everybody got a number that wants to win one of these little static detectors? You can't.
Oh, really?
I'll make you one.
We didn't get a number.
No.
I know. Can you make me one?
I want one.
I'll put the.
Can you make it tonight?
I'll make a video. For
We'll
what?
have time to go to
I
it.
don't want to make it.
Make what?
That. I want you to make it.
You buy me the stuff, I'm almost done.
I
only
think
got one more.
$5.
I'd have to order the parts offline. Radio Shack doesn't have them anymore.
Because
Know what I'm
Radio
saying?
Shack isn't Radio Shack.
Radio Shack is my place to go, and they don't sell my ghost box. They don't sell my transistors. They don't sell anything anymore. I cried.
Cell phone
Huh?
service. I don't do cell phone anymore.
Allied Electronics. Just send me that link.
Not an incident.
See, I used
I had an incident.
what was that place called? James Code. But they charge you, well, it's like $5 added to it if it's not over $10. So
What?
that's stupid.
I thought you went around the box and you found a shelf that said transistor.
Yeah, but they weren't. But anyway, so everybody's got paper that wanted paper? All right, so,
Where do you get it at?
oh, my wife over there holding something up in the air. What, you got in a cup or something?
She found a cup, yes.
All right. Y'all
Picture.
ready? Shake it and do it. Oh, you're dropping them out. All right. There you go. All right.
All right.
You can come up here and get it.
Well, I'll have to show you how to use it too, so you can come up here and stand. All right. We got two different ones here. Well, they're not different, but this one's not as bright as what this one is, but basically the way you want to do these, like I said, it's just, but you just plug your battery in and go. And,
Now, do you want them to unplug the battery when they're not new?
yeah, because you don't want it to run down. These are actually pretty low.
Yeah, or they'll get corroded.
Yeah, corroded.
Yeah, that's it.
You always have to wash
We're
it.
gonna put my plastic bag.
Your plastic bag right there.
Oh, that one's not one. I can use that. Walmart sacks are better, but can't remember. Yeah, this one. See how it's lighting up when that gets closed. Now, the premises, they're supposed to be electric charging a lot more stronger than this, but you get the idea. But at any rate, yeah, you'll. And you don't have to be too careful because that's all super glued up in there. But when you're done with the battery, turn it upside down, put your cables back in, put the lid back on. And no, Express Pharmacy did not help us with this. He wants the bright one, he wants the dimmer one.
I just have a bright one. Why not? It's at the back.
They both work good in the dark. I tried them both, but I knew that one wasn't as bright. But hey, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do one more number. I thought.
You are not giving your millimeter away.
I'll buy a millimeter.
Looks like you give me.
My cake too later.
I want to buy it.
You want to buy my cake
Yes.
too later?
The number's Michelle.
Go grab a number.
Never mind.
Oh, wait, we want in on that one.
I'm closer.
We'll figure it out. All right, never mind then. Well, I sold my DVR off of under her one day. And she got mad at me, so I better not make her mad again. But did y'all enjoy it? Was it entertaining? I'm not going to end it a little early since it's,
Well, they can come up and ask
Yeah, you
questions,
can
and
come
we
up.
have.
We're
we
going
all
to be
have
here for a
cards
while
and-
until everybody's gone anyway because we got to clean up before we leave. So come up, visit, talk, and
Oh, this thing wasn't all the way on there. That's why it kept doing this.
Hey Dad, can I borrow some money?
no. Why would you need money?
Why would you borrow it? Dude, just ask.
Dude,
can I have
Dude,
it?
Dad, money.
Yeah.
Mom,
Aren't you,
Do you have a, do you have, yes, I have.
aren't you Greg's wife?
No, I don't have one of that. I have that.
Here, here.
thank you.
Thank you for sharing
your experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we work with Greg, so.
Oh, you work with Greg?
Well, we're not on his team, but we're there. You'll know us. If you know Jason, Jeremy, your teammate, you'll know who we are.
Who's?
Greg, Duncan. Your buddy that you talk to every day.
We sat at the Christmas party.
Yeah.
I remember now.
Austin and Daryl.
Last year for the ghost walk that they had downtown Bartlesville.
I'm not good.
You had the hospital.
No, I had already
Little
given
details.
They're always in trouble.
That's why they're over there.
Because I know for the ghost walk,
I'm the
make it
president.
closer, so I
Yeah,
can
you're
see
fine. What?
I know that they had like, yeah. Every year downtown Bartlesville does a ghost walk where people can walk around.
Yes.
We put on investigation. Very crazy. You're not right there, and they were.
I'm sure it was. I wanted to I've always wanted to go in there, but yeah, the city can get you in, but stuff like that. So, yeah, it's really hard, but yeah, one of these years we're gonna actually be part of the Ghost Walk. I just haven't talked to the right people yet. I usually wait for people to actually message me and ask me to do something. But yeah, that's well, I think you were there, right, at the hospital? When they did the Ghost Walk?
No, you didn't.
Well,
No.
yeah, that's pretty cool. If you have any problems with that thing, let me know. It works good, but glad you have some. I'm a long too bit worn out. Yeah. But yeah, if you ever have any questions, email me whenever. Howdy, you're Martin. I'm looking you up. I knew your face. I saw you, but I thought I couldn't remember if you were a guy named David or Martin. Yeah.
There's my hat.
So glad y'all got the money.
No, I was. I dropped it somewhere.
Oh, you guys
So you're facing what? Do you have a Facebook?
I am on his, just Crystal Alexander, if you go to his, it says married to, I don't know my link for my Facebook, but it's just Crystal Alexander.
I just asked because he always hogs the Facebook.
Yeah, I don't ever, he handles all the posting and stuff, and he's the opinionated one. Yeah. I kind of just sit back and listen.
It's all her, all the rest of it.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to go drive. Sure.
I've been
The first thing he asked when he told me he got in the car, I was like, did you drive it? He's like, yeah.
She was like, because Jason's like, well, I guess if we're all busy and Crystal needs to use a car, she drive it. I was like, yes, but she can't take it near the demon.
You can't take
You can't even tell the demon I have in the car. He's like, who?
You have a good night.
I laughed.
You guys leaving already?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, if you guys want, I don't know if we're...
Piqued my happiness a little bit when I found
I
out
know
she
you
got
weren't part of the
married.
thing, but if you guys want to, I think we're going to go home meet for here in a little bit. I don't know. Where's everybody want to eat at?
So, when I was
Montana Mike, Aaron Marble.
about coming to take
Yeah.
to do the
So yeah, if y'all want to do that, I'll send you a message on
Did you just
Facebook.
say like your wife?
Probably be going
You mean my mom?
You want to get
He goes, yeah, did she buy a signal? I brought my mom. Oh, wait. Yeah, he just said sorry. I was like, dude, I thought we were going to have to file a police report.
I have 45 minutes from Tulsa to come here. Yeah.
I thought maybe she used mine because, she memorized numbers.
Yeah, it's over my,
I figured maybe she remembered my social security.
there's a car lot.
I don't know. I'm surprised nothing popped up yet.
No, it's more of it's across town, right off 75, you'll turn
As long as she's not near me, I'm
by a
okay.
Burger King and a car lot, you turn between them and it's back off a little ways in there.
I was hearing the mess in the background.
Yeah. All right, yeah, hey, these guys came down and this part of it.
The only thing is
Good.
that there's
Don't be taller than you.
there's another corner like that. There's a doorway right there. So you have that corner that's in front of
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, he likes doing it now, begging me to go places, so I might take him with me tonight.
sound patch, just so you say how sharp it
My
is.
hands are free.
Stuff, you know, I would think that. Yeah, there was a lot of dust.
Yeah, she'll be doing it. Just gotta do what mom does. So. All right, well, y'all have a good night. We'll send y'all on.
In March of this year.
I don't need a burn.
March
I'm in the wrong place.
We're doing an investigation tonight.
Oh, really?
Just in like 3 days.
I just asked for a raise. I just sent an email yesterday.
It's still.
Just asked for a raise yesterday. I just sent an email.
I've been like waiting.
Do what?
I've been like waiting. Like I'll come in like.
I've been putting my extra hours in, so I think that I deserve it. Because you notice I'm there for everybody, and I'm there after people, so.
Yeah.
I sent it to John.
Story,
But I finally did it. I finally accepted it. Yeah. Jason was like, well, you know what it is? You got a new car, a new hoodie, so you got all Mr. Confidence. I was like, remember I hit a bridge?
That wouldn't have been done. In March,
It was
wouldn't have bugs inside the house in March. So, I would think more if that you had actually caught it.
And then he had to tie the whole front end of the cycle.
You still live there?
The front fell off.
I had to drive it. He's like, it's angled like a little bit this way. And yeah, and he's like, you can't go over 50 or else it'll fly up. And I'm like, okay. So I'm driving it from my house to
No, I was afraid that if you drove over 50, then it wouldn't.
and I'm like, Jeremy, I feel like the wheels are gonna fall off. So now he's gonna do all the fucking opposite. Yes, I get to drive it.
Now I was all like, they're all
Nobody's driven it. I am the only one that's driven the car.
It's just all like, yeah,
I bought the car at 14 miles. I am the only one that's driven. And I'm already at 112.
Ours had 17 on it.
I have been cooped up. Yeah, I'm already at 112. I've been cooped up. So first thing I got a chance to do, I like driving.
The thing that's bad, we got ours at 17 miles, and we are now at like just barely speed.
See, John bought his at 15.
I just hit 100,000.
8,000. Like we're at 168.
We're hunting, right?
But it was an 05.
Well, the Jeep was an 04, but it just rolled over 126,000. And he was like, well, how many miles did you put in your car? I was like, I've had it for 2.5 years. I've driven it was at 122. You're only at 126. I was like, yeah, I barely drive.
Now that he's got his car, he's like, oh, gotta drive to check my mail.
Oh, it's gonna have Batman on it. The Batman symbol on the hood here soon.
And there's not another. Oh, it's the one that looks like a freaking toaster.
Yeah, but doesn't that come with everything? Like in that Scion's pitch, everything comes standard. I've only jumped out of my car and let it roll on its own one time, and that's when we were at Gravity Hill. And we jumped out of the truck and we're running around the truck as it was.
That's when you hear on the news, idiot gets run over by his own car.
Jay's sitting on the roof. He's recording us.
Really like remarkably.
Oh my gosh, I was wearing a sweater, a shirt, as a dress. And like literally, here she is. Where? I saw her.
What? So he stopped when he dressed up.
I didn't even just wear just like that guy that you saw that she was in. You thought he
I
was.
wrote that on the board when we got here. And
And she
then
says, I
they
need to get
put
my
it in the
ears.
screen down. I couldn't even
I mean,
see
there's a lot more
it. No,
words
she's
than that,
very
but I
sweet.
think about it.
I really want to appreciate
That's why she's not a word.
I had to stand on the chair to write it.
What's funny is she thinks I'm deaf and she's over here whispering yesterday and I heard everything she's saying. She's like, "But you can hear me?" I was like, yeah.
I remember, you know, I'm like, you wrote around one of yours. And that's the one you two on
Yeah, I would never have been arrested.
Yeah, whatever you guys know, when I finally found out that you guys were part of it, I
See? I'm used to it.
What is that?
Jason kept y'all secret for a little while. He did. He didn't tell me. I was all like, who's this over here? I don't know what they're doing and
Kinda
all.
looks like, did you see those feathers, look like the feathers thing? that we kept on?
Yeah, and I've been friends with Billy.
See?
I didn't know you were talking to me. You have to get my attention.
No, it's like that when she's like this too.
I love, like, Kenny
Talking.
was Billy was saying.
What?
Yeah.
We're gonna have it.
Unless it's at work and I'm in a break room.
Oh, she
Oh,
can't
that's
do
what
that.
that could kill you.
She couldn't do that. She'd die. I think you'd be like a
This
witch.
is my first time.
And wanted to.
I like being called a witch because
Yeah, the technology free weekend.
She could be like a witch on Snow White about the phone.
Oh, okay. That's taking things up.
Which is good, so don't use it like it's good. Will you please do give me pictures?
It's cool.
I'm just holding your arm behind my back.
It's more, if you can't sustain.
I saw that. It's not as She attacked Austin.
Oh, I saw that.
Now, why didn't you guys like go after him and be like,
I always give my opinion. A little bit.
the lady looked like, the lady came up, she's like, who are those guys? The ones that were like sleeping. Oh, they're with you? And then she's like,
That's the only reason why I show this.
She did.
But she was just playing about us.
She goes, who are those? Who are those guys?
We're like, they're ours.
They belong to us.
They're harmless.
And
They're in trouble.
And Daryl looked at us and was like, I guess we're property now.
They're harmless.
Chris,
I haven't.
What?
are you feeling better?
Yes.
Did you go poop?
No.
Where are we eating? No. He told me that.
I left
And I
that to
was
Jason.
like,
Yeah, I was like, my stomach hurts from lunch earlier, and he's like, his solution to everything is go poop. And I'm like, really? Yeah. Even if I have a headache.
Is there not a trash can here?
Okay.
In the, probably in the.
Yeah, it's on that flat part.
Yeah. But you're feeling better? Okay, good. Because I was wondering if you were going to go tonight or not.
Yeah, I almost wasn't going to because I